There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayum is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayum, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayum can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
We are live Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Only one place to be. It is the Squared Circle Digest. I am Sean Stanley. That gentleman down there is Mr. Frankie Fresco. Blame Tua. That's why he's here. That's it. And, of course, he's got the blame Tua WWE fans. We got a lot to get to. There's been a lot of happenings in AEW, a lot of happenings in WWE. We got some TNA Slammiversary talk tonight. But I want to get started even off more of a beaten path. And that is, and Frankie Fresco doesn't even know this because I hit it on the rundown. And real quick, also, Steven Gonzalez, my dad in, Terry's in, Bounce DJ is in, Cap for Life is in. And I wish we could call, right, Liv Morgan's name.
We gotta talk about that, man. That
doesn't work.
My heart is going out for her right now.
Oh man, yeah. You want to console her and be there for her.
I'm very sad.
We'll dive into what happened on Raw last night, and yeah, amazing. Probably an understatement. I want to talk about. I don't know, Frankie, how much you know about Fanatics Fan Fest. They're going to hold one in New York City, August 16th through the 18th. Okay. I'm going to go through a list of names here. And please, if you're on the chat, if you're watching us on X, wherever you're watching to us, I want you to listen to these names, okay? And some of them are older sports, some of them are newer, so I'll say the sport and the name, even though most of them you'll probably know, but just in case. All right, NFL, Adrian Peterson. NBA, Allen Houston. NBA, Allen Iverson. Major League Baseball, Andre Dawson. Major League Baseball, Andy Pettitte. NFL, Archie Manning. NHL, Austin Matthews. NFL, Barry Sanders. WWE, Bailey. WWE, Bianca Belair. Major League Baseball, Cal Ripken Jr. NBA, Carmelo Anthony. Major League Baseball, CC Sabathia. NFL, Chad Johnson. WWE, CM Punk. WWE, Cody Rhodes. Major League Baseball, the next three: Strawberry, Ortiz, Doc Gooden. NBA, Dominique Wilkins, Dante DiVincenzo. WWE is Drew McIntyre. Major League Baseball, Edgar Martinez. NFL, Eli Manning. In Major League Baseball, Frank Thomas, NHL, Henrik Lundqvist. I almost said Vist. Lundqvist. Hideki Matsui, Hulk Hogan. This one, Aya Sorokin with the NHL, Jade Cargill, Jalen Brunson, Jeff McNeil, Jerry Rice, Jay Uso, Jim Kelly, Johnny Bench, Josh Hart, Julius Randle, Keandre Miller, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the NBA player, Kevin Garnett, L.A. Knight, Larry Johnson, Lawrence Taylor, Liv Morgan, Luke Kuechly, Matt Remp, Michael Vick, Michael Bridges, Mike Richter, Mike Tyson, O.J. Anderson, Ozzie Smith, Banchero, Paolo, Banchero, Paul Pierce, Pedro Martinez, Penny Hardaway, Pete Alonso, Peyton Manning, Ray Knight, Ray Lewis, Ray Mysterio, Rhea Ripley, Rudy Rudiger, Sabrina Ionescu, Teddy Bruschi, The Miz, Thurman Thomas, Tiffany Stratton, Tracy McGrady, Tyrese Maxey, Vinny Testaverde, Warren Moon. All of them have times that are going to be signing at Fanatics Fest. And you can buy the package and everything else. How many do you think are sold out?
All of them?
Nope.
I'm assuming you're counting.
7 of them.
Okay.
7 are sold out, okay? One is Jalen Brunson. You're in New York City. New York Knicks. All right, right? The rest of them, all WWE superstars. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, Rey Mysterio, Rhea Ripley.
They weren't able to sell The Miz.
They didn't sell out The Miz. They didn't sell out LA Knight. They didn't sell out Jade Cargill. They didn't sell out Hulk Hogan.
How dare they? They didn't sell out Tiffany?
Not Tiffany either. There's still some available. Now,
Bailey or Bianca Belair either? Damn.
No, but here's the thing. So for instance, they're signing for like 2 hours at a time. But and by the way, here are the prices, okay? And they're pretty much, I believe, across the board the same price no matter what you get. Okay. For just a photo op, it's $139.97.
That's a lot.
An autograph, $139.97. Artwork or lithograph autograph, meaning they sign your artwork that you drew of them, $270.17.
Jesus.
If you bring a piece of matched used item for autograph, it's $270.17.
Talk about inflation.
And just to get an autograph on a Funko, toy, apparel, title belt, $161.67. And all of them, all those packages are sold out for those 6 WWE superstars and Jalen Brunson only right now.
WWE fans coming in strong, huh?
I mean, they do say like Madison Square Garden is like the Mecca, and maybe it's those New York City fans, but I just thought that when you look at that list, it was pretty telling to me, because what happened was Sean Ross Sapp sent out a thing earlier, and it was an X or a tweet, whatever the hell you want to call them things these days. And it says Cody Rhodes was the fastest selling ticket of any athlete at Fanatics Fest. Fightful Select has learned. Rhea Ripley sold out faster than any non-WWE athlete as well.
Who was the other wrestlers?
Oh, that sold out?
Yeah.
CM Punk.
Uh-huh.
Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Drew McIntyre.
Okay, makes sense.
Jey Uso.
Yeet. Okay.
Rey Mysterio.
Okay.
And Rhea Ripley.
So Liv Morgan didn't sell out.
Liv Morgan did not sell out yet either. Now, again, I don't know how close they are. You know what? Let me hit the refresh. Let me make sure nothing's sold out since then.
Bounce is saying, when is the event? Next month?
Oh, it's August 16th through the 18th at the Javits Center. It's called Phonetics Fest NYC 2024.
So Bounce,
you got to look at the dates and the times because they're going to be there everybody's different times and things like that.
So what do you say, Bounce? We go to New York and then we head to California. You let me know, sir.
That's a hell of a road trip.
Well, me and Bounce are going to California like that weekend afterwards. So that's why I was like, hey, we'll go to New York and then go to California. But I'm surprised. I'm surprised that some of those guys are not sold out. Like I would have assumed Allen Houston. He's a legend in New York.
Yeah, right. I mean, I would think like Cal Ripken. I mean, I know they're older,
Andy Pettit,
but like those guys, if you're paying that, what also I guess too is it's not just you have to have the memorabilia if you want to get it signed.
I can tell you right now,
that's where the issue comes in with now with some of these guys.
Dom Mysterio would have sold out already too.
Yeah, Dominic would have been up there with yeah, I'm sure. 100%.
He would have been the second one to sell out besides Cody. I'm telling you right now. I think that's expensive though, man. That's pricey, dude.
No, that's pricey as hell, man. To get dude. You're paying more for that than what some of them are going to be worth.
Not only that, but like I could get that and use that money to go like to an event. Like I could go to a Monday Night Raw or something.
Yeah, that'd be you could two to three tickets for that.
Yeah, I could just meet him at the airport and I can meet him at the airport and get him to sign it.
Yeah, I mean, send my kid up there. Will you please sign this?
Just sign it for me.
It does look like they do change prices. A photo op with Bianca Belair is $85.72.
Mm.
So that's about what a $50 difference between her and CM Punk.
Well, CM Punk is well worth the price if you're gonna get something signed from him. So
let me see what like Barry Sanders. See Barry Sanders again. Maybe it's more of this. It's $194.22 just for a photo op.
Jesus, for Barry Sanders. I mean, he is a legend though.
Yeah,
it's a Hall of Famer all day. Yeah. But that's a lot of money, dude. I don't know if I want. I mean, I don't even think I would pay that much for like a Miami Dolphin. So.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, I believe you have to pay to get into.
Are you kidding me? As well?
I think you pay to get into the event.
Jesus. So you're paying to get into the event. You're paying for them to either sign your stuff or take photos with you and stuff like that. Pricey, man. That's expensive. I don't know if I would do that, guys. Would you guys pay for that? Let us know in the chat.
They're also having panels. They're having immersive fan experiences. And then they're also doing exclusive drops and collectibles for like Topps, Donruss, and the different things. Tom Brady is appearing there. Kevin Durant will be appearing. Peyton Manning, Derek Jeter. They're probably going to be, I guess, on the panels, not necessarily maybe the signing. Because I didn't see Brady and them on there. Because when I first heard that they were like Cody Rhodes sold out, and I went and I saw the list, I'm like, well, damn, you're telling me Tom Brady and Derek Jeter? And then I looked at the list, and it was only WWE people. But then when you look at the list, like Brady's not on there, Jeter's not on there, Peyton Manning's not on there, Carmelo Anthony's on there. But I think people have grown tired of him.
I don't think New Yorkers like Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then I don't understand what Paul Pierce thinks he's going to get in New York. But okay, Bob.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I would not pay that. Too much money for my blood.
EA Minutes is in. The third unofficial podcaster is in the house.
Yeah, would you pay all that money to go watch or get signatures from these people?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see what the ticket prices is. Buy tickets here. Let me see what they go for here. Maybe if you purchase the thing, it automatically like includes your insurance fee if you buy a thing, and it's taking forever. Wow.
Now, if they would be like wrestling, or they would do like I don't know. I guess
AEW will be at San Diego Comic-Con this weekend.
Okay.
They announced it today. They just sent it out.
Nice.
So
AEW doing something similar too.
Yeah. Well, usually WWE doesn't. That's what I found odd. But then I forgot they're going to Japan. They're on their way to Japan right now. So
that's true. That is
all right,
very
let's
true.
See. All right, so a 3-day adult ticket is $130 plus $22.58 service fee. So it's $152 for 3 days. The VIP ticket is $464.
Jeez.
Adult tickets on Friday is just $58 to get in.
not bad.
Kids prices are $35.
Damn, pricey for kids.
$23 on Sunday.
Okay.
And and a $3 processing fee. So there you go. So not only do you have to pay, you're paying, $50 to get in on the day you're going, plus the 100 and whatever. So that's a $300 day, at least, easily.
And that's
and
only
you're in New York City too. Well, I guess you could take public trip, but most people are gonna have to travel to go there. So you're probably gonna get there and then.
And that's $300 per person.
Yeah.
So it's pricey.
But
you want to take your whole family, it's going to be pricey, bro.
Oh, no.
Even the kids.
Listen,
$35.
wife and kids can wait outside. I'm going to go in and get my autograph and I'll be back.
Hey,
have a hot dog on the corner. Get a dog.
Do that? You do that to your child? Come on, man. You got to
man. Get a dog. Go over there and get a dog. Actually, I think Madison Square Garden right across the street is isn't that toy store over there? The main one. I think the Disney store is over that way somewhere too. So
I saw Madison Square Garden from far away. I didn't actually.
I drove by it and I didn't pay attention to where I was at. So I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, let's get to what everybody's here
wrestling
to talk about. Wrestling, baby, wrestling. Again, if anybody that's new to our show, if you're watching us for the first time, our shows are on Tuesday, so our weeks go Wednesday through today. So we usually, we start with Smackdown and WWE, and of course we talk Dynamite the last week, and then we look at this week's, and we do not talk NXT. That happens on That Man's show. Let Me Talk to You with him and his brother on the Frankie Fresco YouTube channel. And if you will, please, if you're watching on either one, Stanley Media House Network YouTube channel, the Frankie Fresco YouTube channel, jump over to the other one. Hit that subscribe button. Help us out. All it takes is you hit the subscribe button. If you like what you're hearing, send us out. Pimp us out, please. X, Facebook. What else do kids got these days? IG,
Twitch,
Threads, Twitch. Anything else? Send us. We appreciate all the support that you guys give us, and I appreciate every week you guys being here. All right.
Well, before you go, I just want to show you.
Sorry, I apologize.
I want to show you my cup. This was when I went to WrestleMania here in South Florida.
That. Yes, I have one of those.
I found
Doesn't
it.
That look that good though?
Which one? Yours?
No. Yeah, well, my cup doesn't look as good as that one. My goodness, that's in pretty good condition still. It's like you don't even use it.
I do use it, but not as much as you probably. But I had it here. I was like, hey, let me just get it. And so not bad, right? Old school. Pretty also. Look, they even got Chris Jericho on there.
I know.
It's been a while. Some AEW guys in here.
There's my shot glass. Cafecito, baby.
I like it. Look at that, a young Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, no, that's dashing. Dashing Cody Rhodes.
Nice. All right, let's talk.
All right, man. We'll start with SmackDown. All right. And now here's the interesting thing. This week's SmackDown is recorded. Anybody that doesn't know, now you do. And actually, you know what? Before we dive into the actual wrestling part of this, let's look at the next couple weeks of Raw leading up to and a little bit after SummerSlam. The next two Raws, the one leading into SummerSlam and the one coming out of SummerSlam, have been moved to the Sci-Fi Network.
Spooky.
Because of the Olympics. So you have that being, and then the tour of Japan, they took off today to head to Japan. They're wrestling Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Then they come back. It's super shows, so both rosters have gone over there. The picture I saw was New Day and Sami Zayn. I'm sure there's other ones floating around. So SmackDown this week was recorded after the last SmackDown because they were in, I think, where were they at? Little Rock?
Yeah.
No, Little Rock was our AEW. I'm sorry. I forgot where they are, but they were like on a central time zone, so they were 2 hours behind. So they finished the show at 8 and then did another show 8 to 10 right after. So it's going to be interesting to see how the ratings go for WWE leading into and coming out of, because now you're going to Sci-Fi Network and you've got a recorded show this week. Now the week they go into SummerSlam, it will be live next week from Cleveland. So I'm thinking that's going to be like an amped up show.
Yeah, The next couple of shows are going to be on Sci-Fi, so make sure you tune in. I'm glad they announced it because I didn't know that. So I
did not even know that well either. When I thought about it, I was like, wait, why? And then I was like, oh, wait, NBC.
Yeah,
Olympics.
All day, baby.
Weeks. There we go. All right. So on SmackDown, let's talk about what's going on right now. Okay. We've got the big thing is the Bloodline and Cody.
Yep.
For you, and I already know where you're going to go with this, so I'll let you go here.
Let's go.
Have they hooked you? Have they lost you? Where's your stand right now? The Cody Solo Sikoa Bloodline angle.
It's kind of boring.
I knew you were going to go that way. I know.
It's just boring because we knew Randy Orton was going to get beat up, and then we called it. KO's going to get beat up. I wonder what they do this week, and I haven't looked at the results. I don't want to spoil it. So.
I saw what the card is. I believe it's just honestly, and again, I'm not spoiling anything here because I don't know. I know what the card was.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's going to be one of those dark boardroom type things again.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I believe that's what it's going to be.
I would like to see Solo win it, but I don't think they're going to go that far. Cody's too big of a draw.
Well,
Everybody loves Cody.
And also, I think the problem that you're going to have is you've put so much into Cody to be the one to beat Roman, to where if Solo beats him, you're bringing Roman back to beat Solo to get back the title. That, like, I don't know where. Again, this is talking down the road. I don't know, everything there. It doesn't make sense to me in the storyline where I feel like they're already pushing the Randy Orton narrative. The eggs are being planted where Cody's like, oh, they took out my friend, my brother. He's like family. And it's like, okay, here comes the Viper. He's going to turn on you. And it's going to be, it just feels like that's going to happen. And now I wonder too, is if KO's going to turn on him. Like, I feel like they've taken out everybody who had his back, at least everybody that we know has his back.
Yep.
And then now he goes in and he does it alone, or he does it with the help of Roman. Do KO and Randy look at it differently? Like, you got us taken out and you're saved by them. Like, I don't know how it's all going to play out, but at some point there's going to be a flip by somebody. Because when you look at it right now in the Bloodline, you've got the Bloodline angle. Who's that next heel on SmackDown?
Logan Paul?
Again, yeah, I guess. Yeah, you could, if you take a title off him with LA Knight, you could slide him there again. He's already had a shot at Cody, but again, you could do it at Bad Blood in Atlanta to kind of set up for. Because I don't think Cody's getting beaten in Atlanta either. That's his hometown. Like,
but what would suck is if Cody beats Solo and then they put another person from the Bloodline to go up against him. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think if Roman comes back, I think the first thing you're getting is Roman versus Jacob Fatu.
On a SmackDown?
No. I think on SmackDown, I think you get Tama Tonga against like somebody fed to. You're not getting Jacob and Roman on SmackDown.
So you're getting a Roman in a SmackDown though.
Possibly. And again, that's just saying because I don't know. I feel like somebody's coming back at SummerSlam. And I feel like since it's SummerSlam, one of the big 4 pay-per-views, not saying that anything, don't take this the wrong way, Jimmy Uso or anything like that. But I feel like if it's going to be Jimmy Uso, would have been on the other pay-per-view. SummerSlam to me says Roman Reigns.
What about if you got both of them come out at the same time?
Maybe you do, but I just feel like this pay-per-view, one of the big 4 says Roman comes back. It just
should be Roman, yeah.
Like, I feel like it would be almost like a letdown if it's not Roman. Like, yeah. I felt like, and I'll be honest, and I think I said it I did not necessarily like the way the last pay-per-view ended. I understand it now looking back at it is WWE stance was we need to make Roman's victory over Cody be the lasting thing that you see as the pay-per-view ends. But like, I don't know, man. I felt like that would have been a good spot to where you could have had Jay come in. You could still done the whole, solo pins Cody. I understand where you're setting up for, but I felt like you could have had something more happen there other than just, hey, solo pin Cody. We go off the air with them raising the hand, which has been the go-to now for SmackDown. There's two go-tos right now on WWE TV. Have you picked up on both of them? One on Raw, one on SmackDown. Do you know what they are?
Well, the SmackDown one is them raising their finger all the damn time.
Yep. That's the go-to to end the show. Yep. You know what the one is on Raw?
Braun Breaker.
Yeah. The last 3 shows, it's been Braun Breaker.
Yep. It's disappointing. It's kind of a letdown. Well, in my opinion.
I don't know if it's a letdown, but I feel like
they're half-assing it, bro.
They could do so much more. But again, they're trying to set up for me, at least I believe what they're doing is trying to make sure that everybody understands how Braun Breaker is going to be that special, person, that star. And with Solo, I feel like it's the spotlight's on them for the Roman return.
It's kind of funny when Lyra Valkyria came and Dragunov came, they had early success and they pushed them, and Braun Breaker was pushed to the side. Now you're seeing Lyra Valkyria lose, and you're also seeing Dragunov lose more, and now you're seeing Braun Breaker being pushed.
The other thing, too, that I'm wondering, like last night seemed odd. Like, I don't feel like that was supposed to be the finish of the Dragunov Breaker match. Like, I don't know, man. It seemed odd to me, and I tried to watch it back a couple times, and I slowed it down. I don't see him hitting his head. He hits his shoulder, and then he goes down. The ref does the right thing, comes out of the ring. And the thing is, in wrestling, when the ref hits your hand, you squeeze so they know you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
He does not squeeze her hand. She puts her hand there, and the hand doesn't squeeze. She goes back into the ring, calls for the bell. The match is over. Like, I can't believe that was supposed to be the ending of a number 1 contenders match for a match at SummerSlam. I feel like they were going to set up for a triple threat.
I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't fond about that because I've already seen it. Like, I've seen Braun Breaker and Dragunov in NXT. So this is nothing new to me. It's kind of boring. I don't know why.
I think they bring it every time. It's different. They have different style of, it just.
You probably say that because I don't know if you watched the NXT between both of them when they were going at it.
I was the one that beat Breaker to send them to the main roster.
Yeah, but remember with the Breaker over there, remember he had that point when he picked up the steel steps and injured Dragunov severely and stuff like that. So there was a lot of storylines when they did that over there on NXT. That's why for me it's like, why are they doing this all over again in WWE? But again, not a lot of people watch NXT, so they have a bigger audience.
The other problem I think is now they're trying to reestablish these guys, and the ones that have the hardcore ones that have watched NXT, you're kind of watching it again unfold because now they're trying to bring it to the new, maybe just the casual wrestling fans that only watch Raw or only watch SmackDown or, so now you're getting it again. But whereas if you watch NXT, you watch this and you're watching it again.
But there's no problem with them running it back. I just don't think that should be what should be ending the show, in my opinion. That's my only issue with it.
When I look back at it, what would have, then your main event, the only other thing that I see that could have maybe been that would have been the announcing Seth as the referee.
Oh, and didn't we call that as well? We said it's either going to be a triple threat or he's going to be a ref. One of the two. I can't
stand that, man.
Oh, I was so happy. I was like, yes, we got another one right.
You're probably happy with the toilet paper that he was wearing too.
I love it.
You know what? when you lose your bets, you have to wear Seth Rollins' outfit
I would look horrible
to
in
the
this
mall.
outfit.
To the mall. To
I
the
can't
mall.
pull. I can't pull a Seth Rollins outfit. I can tell you that right now.
Oh my goodness!
But
Yeah,
I can
and
tell
then,
you this.
No Doubt did say, he said Braun looked actually shocked and was having a hard time selling it. It felt odd, that part of it. And I know we're kind of jumping around into different things, but you know,
They could have ended the show with the Dom Mysterio situation. They could have ended the show with the Wyatt Six situation.
yeah, but see, but the Wyatt Six, then you would have ended the match that would have ended Raw would have been Karrion Kross and AOP versus Otis, Tozawa, and
yeah,
and Xavier Woods.
Didn't you see the pop that Otis got, bro? The crowd went wild on Otis, bro.
I agree.
Hell
I
yeah.
agree, but I mean, the Dom one isn't bad, but again, then it was just a basic promo because she forced Dom out to bring out Liv, and then they cut all the stuff there.
No, and explain that to me, man. How can Dom do that to Liv Morgan?
Dude, come on, man. Come on.
Why did he do that?
As soon as he started doing what he did, I said, man, this son of a bitch is gonna turn on Rhea.
He should have.
He's going to.
I know but how is he gonna go
ahead?
How is he gonna do that to Liv Morgan in front of that crowd? He has to make it up.
And
the only way he has to make it up is by turning on Rhea, bro.
For as long as they were following Liv out with the crying that she was doing,
yeah,
I really thought at one point she was gonna look into the camera and just do her sick little smile thing and then leave. Because she turned her back to the crowd. Nobody could see her. It was just the camera. And I really thought at some point she was going to do that evil shit-eating grin that she does and then go.
I just, I sent a message to Dom. I don't think he read it, but I still send it to him. I told him, Dom, why'd you do that to Liv Morgan? Sometimes you got to make sacrifices. And I know Mommy has always been by his side and everything. But Liv is giving him victories, man. While Rhea has kind of put him in situations where he's
Liv helped him beat his dad.
Exactly.
Remember, he was winless against his dad with Rhea.
I sent a message to Dom and I told him, I sent it to him through IG and he didn't read it. He doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want to hear it from me or anything like that. I even commented on one of his pictures and put 2 thumbs down because he posted on Liv crying, and I didn't like that, man. I thought he did Liv dirty, and he shouldn't be doing
dirty,
that.
Dirty Dom, man, earning that nickname, Dirty Dom.
You can't do that to Liv Morgan, especially the way she was looking that hot. Jesus Christ, that was amazing.
Here's my question: since we're talking this right now, did you feel like they're kind of changing the storyline a little bit?
What do you mean by changing it?
When Liv goes, handsome guys like Dom don't like women like you. They like women like me.
You feel that they were changing the storyline by her saying that?
Like it was going back to like the old, like what Liv did with Nia. Or no, Alexa did with Nia, right? Wasn't Alexa the pretty girl? Nia was the overweight when Nia was the baby face. They kind of did that. And like, the guys don't like girls like you. They like girls like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like that doesn't need to be there. Like, I don't know. I don't understand. It felt like they're kind of like throwing in more ammo on there when I don't think they need that, man. I think this is going.
I thought it was good. I thought it was very good that she threw that out there because, I mean, she's keeping it real. Like, come on, man. She's, Mommy's still very pretty, but Liv Morgan's a
wow.
But Liv Morgan, I'm turning to the dark side, man. I'm sorry, man. And I am related to Dom in the afterlife. Yeah. That's the way I'll say it. Yeah. I've been the one who has preached and said that Dom should be the biggest heel in WWE. And look, they've been listening to me. There's a storyline all the time with Dom, man. I've always said put Dom in front of WWE because he brings out the most and the best out of a person.
And you know what?
Done that.
No Doubt nailed it right here. He says, does he want a mommy or does he want to be daddy? That is the question. And I think that's going to be the ultimate turn. When he turns, that's what's going to happen.
Now my question is, once he turns, what happens to the Judgment Day? Do they turn with him?
No.
Do the Judgment Day recruit Liv Morgan and push out Rhea Ripley? Is that what's going to happen?
No,
because
remember, Damien would never allow that.
So then you're telling me,
I think you might end up seeing, like, you know what's funny, man? Like, I honestly feel this is so like I think they're gonna turn Dom from the biggest heel to the biggest baby face.
Not yet.
I feel like he's going to get played. I feel like he's going to cost Mommy, and then Finn Balor is really going to be the interest of Liv Morgan, and they're going to turn on Dom, and then Dom won't have the Judgment Day, and he won't have Liv, and he's going to be stuck there, and he's ultimately going to become loved.
Okay, so my opinion is he's going to some way, somehow cost Rhea from winning the championship in SummerSlam by accident.
Yeah,
Liv Morgan.
Yes. Now, again, now this is the other thing too, is do they do it quickly, like ripping the Band-Aid off, done? Or do they play it out to where SummerSlam accidentally cost, and then at the next pay-per-view, it becomes real?
This is the thing. What happens is when he turns on, like when he accidentally causes Rhea to lose, Liv Morgan in Monday night will come out and say, I knew it. You were this whole time saying that you didn't love me, that you hated me, but in reality, you did love me because you just allowed me to win, get a victory over Rhea. Yeah. So she's gonna run with that. Now, here's where Dom has to kind of like make a decision of what he wants to do. Does he go ahead and stick with it and say, you know what? You're right, Liv. I've been falling for you all this time and I had to do it and actually like come out? Or does he still keep up with his narrative of like, yo, Mommy's number one and what I did was a mistake? So that's where I'm a little bit kind of.
You know what the interesting thing is too is this. What if, like, see, this the only thing I don't know how they would play this angle of it is how you get Rhea. Because if Dom accidentally costs her the title, she's gonna be livid.
Of course.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then if Liv comes out and does that, then like my thinking was this. What if ultimately we're both wrong as far as thinking Dominic's gonna turn? I was thinking this,
you know why?
as you were doing this, because now he comes out on Monday, as you said, and he goes, you know what, Liv, you're right. I couldn't hide my feelings for you. And then it looks like there's going to be the turn. But then when he's got to make the turn at the pay-per-view or whatever, he helps Rhea win the title.
Negative all day. You want to know why? Because you made me think about this.
See, I started thinking as you were talking, like, that's what I said.
Jey Uso's going to get involved in this as well.
Again, that's another wild card, because you saw it last night, and those who haven't watched it, there's something there.
Yep.
Rhea said, Judgment Day, stay away from Jey Uso.
Yep.
He's not involved in our business. Don't bring him in.
And I think that's why.
Finn and them do it, and JD and Carlito jump Jey Uso. Sami Zayn gets involved. And then when they do the other one, she's like, now not only did you get Jey Uso involved, now we got Sami Zayn involved in Judgment Day business.
Yep.
So there's some, and as No Doubt says, cracks this week. Yeah, Finn, I don't know necessarily that he's feuding with Rhea. He just felt like he needed to take that leadership role, and they were going to get Jey Uso.
I think this is what I predict. I'm going to say that he obviously doesn't allow Rhea to win at SummerSlam. And what ends up happening is that when he goes to go talk to Mommy and explain to her, he sees Mommy talking to Jey Uso, which is going to infuriate Dom Mysterio. And Dom is going to be like, what the hell's going on here? And that's when Liv Morgan starts feeding into his ear and into his head saying, she is not your mommy, but you're my daddy. And I think that's when you eventually will get Dom Mysterio to fully turn on her, probably in the next pay-per-view, or they could do it on a Raw. And it'll lead up to possibly a Jey Uso, Rhea Ripley versus a Dom Mysterio, Liv Morgan fight eventually. Whether it's on a pay-per-view or on a regular Raw is yet to be determined. But I think that's where they're gonna head with this. And now again, I'm like what Chad said and what EA Sports says, and no doubt, even Memo. I'm pretty sure Memo. I saw Memo. What's up, Memo? Everybody's a Liv Morgan fan right now.
Oh no,
everybody is a Liv Morgan fan.
Really?
Like I'm shocked at how quickly people are starting to enjoy and favor Liv Morgan a lot quicker than what Rhea Ripley has established in such a quick in such a long time.
That sells, buddy. That sells.
I understand, but I mean, come on. We're also not gonna go ahead and say, hey, Rhea Ripley is, old slice of pizza. She is. Rhea Ripley.
That's where I was saying, like, they've kind of turned it, because remember, Liv wasn't really walking around like that until yesterday.
Yeah, because
yesterday was the first time she came out. She's like, they want people like me, and she made sure to show you exactly what it was, and it's like, it was interesting to see, because now it's not only, the Dominic thing, and now it's like, now you're starting to get into the, and again, that's a battle I think Liv would win 90% of the time.
And you're getting into this risque type of WWE, which I like.
Well, that's ultimately coming. Yeah, you're going to see more and more of that. I mean, they're walking and testing the line on USA.
They are,
because Raw's leaving, but SmackDown is coming back over to USA. So now they're going to.
That's why SmackDown is so boring.
Yeah, but I think what's going to happen now is they're going to test those lines with the Raw. So that when SmackDown comes over, they're like, okay, this is our blueprint. This is what we're doing on USA. Here's what we're doing on Raw.
Did you see what
on Netflix?
Did you see what Netflix did too? Netflix removed the cost-effective package, the one that's like at least $11 for commercials. They got rid of it. So now you have to purchase the one that has no commercials, which is more expensive.
Yeah.
So the $11 one, you're not gonna be able to pay for that one. Now you're gonna have to purchase. I think the next one, I think, is like $20 or like $22.
Yeah, I think I pay $17.88 or something like that. Some it's an odd number. It's like $17.89 for the whole thing. Which they'll probably change that price too once. Although I mean, it just depends too. It's like it's gonna be odd, man, because now apparently TNT is gonna match Amazon Prime's NBA.
That's
deal.
bad.
So,
that's bad for AEW.
Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit, because there's been some resolutions maybe to the AEW WBD deal. We'll see.
All right, so talk to me about the fact that you're upset that Seth freaking Rollins is the guest referee. Why are you mad, sir?
It's not
they
that
got
I'm
it right,
man. It's not
they
that
got
I'm
it right, sir. They put all three of them together. You don't know what you're gonna get from Seth Rollins.
I agree with what Drew sent out. Seth, the spotlight, just wanted to be in the spotlight. The hottest feud in WWE, Seth has to interject himself into.
Of course.
Like, I just feel like you're taking, like, to me, this is the other thing. Adam Pearce comes out and he's like, well, no referee wanted to do it because of this and that. Well, then take everything out of it. They want to beat the crap out of each other. Make it a last man standing match. All the refs got to do is count to 10. You guys just beat the crap out of each other.
Whoa. Why are you doing that? Adam Pearce made the right call. He's protecting his referees. God. The only way you could put a referee that is going to be able to handle anybody attacking them is Seth freaking Rollins, sir.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this straight up, okay? I'm not wrestling fan, a wrestling fan. This is Sean to Frankie Fresco. Do you think we're getting a clear-cut winner in this match?
I'm 50-50 on that one.
There's no damn way. There's no goddamn way that
I'm 50-50.
Seth Rollins is calling it down the middle. No.
But that's a good part. That's what's gonna make that match even more special, because when CM Punk is gonna pin him, Seth Rollins is gonna count 1, 2, and then he's gonna do something and then not count the 3. CM Punk is gonna get pissed. Then Drew McIntyre will do the same thing, and then he'll do the same thing to Drew McIntyre. Now the question is, who will Seth Rollins favor to give that match? What happens? Is there? That's where I'm a little bit confused, man, because I really want to know: is he gonna favor Drew, or is he
Or
gonna
get his
favor
rules next
CM
week?
Punk?
But I don't know what. Like, it's just to me, like, I've wanted to see Drew and CM Punk get their hands on each other.
Damn,
And
dude.
now all of a sudden it's like, here you go, but
So Memo saying
ultimately know.
that Drew's gonna win, and then No Doubt says we get Seth rules next week. What about if there's a way that they have like a time limit and they pull an AEW where the time limit runs out?
Yeah, but then what? So you just got Seth out there, like what you said. Seth's got to be on SummerSlam. Put him somewhere.
Put
All
him
right.
somewhere, and then
Yeah.
that leads up to the next pay-per-view where it'll be a fatal like 3-way between all three of them. And this time you actually have
Yeah,
a
but
referee.
then, to me, then Seth has to do something in the match.
Yeah. He's
At
gonna
some
be.
point, either he could, do the curb stomp to both of them and leave them both laying, like what Stone Cold did with that match that nobody wanted, Lesnar against Goldberg. Remember, he stunned them both. And
Well, look at Terry. Terry's saying it. They're building a triple threat at the next PLE, which is true.
The next PLE would be
Bash of Berlin.
Bash at Berlin. So then what? Drew goes over?
Yes, he does, because you have Steph and CM Punk getting.
And then you have Seth and CM Punk at Bad Blood.
You could have that,
And
yes.
Drew McIntyre goes on to face Gunther
You could,
Drew,
bro, or you could still keep that going.
Damian
It's
Priest.
crazy. Those three guys can hang for a while.
Well, no, they can, but again, if you have, think about this now. If Damian Priest retains over Gunther at SummerSlam, who's his opponent at Bash at Berlin? It'd have to be.
I don't see Damian Priest beating.
I don't either, but honestly, man, the way he's picking up so much steam, man. Like, I feel like I know he'll be able to bounce back now. Like, I feel like they built him up enough to where it doesn't hurt him. But man, like, I feel like he's on that roll right now to where it's like, oh, now you run into Gunther. And
I mean, they started Raw with both of them duking it out. So you're right.
No, it was he walked in and he went that he's gonna talk, and then they just freaking went to blows, and the place erupted.
Where's Gunther from? What country is he from?
You know what? I can't remember what they said.
Because that makes sense. Like, No Doubt says Gunther needs a big match for Berlin. So if he's somewhere from Europe, I'm pretty sure.
No, I know he's from over that way. I just don't know exactly where they're billing him from.
Yeah, because it would make sense for them to build him up and make him win close to his hometown if he's from somewhere in Europe. So, but it makes sense. I just don't see. I mean, granted,
he's from Vienna, Austria.
Okay, so Austria is still in Europe, so it's not that far away. I mean, he's not that far away from Germany, but
yeah, I almost feel like they do something at this, but like, I don't know, man. Does he run it, dude? Does he win the title and they run it back at Bash Berlin? Because that'd be tough. And then also you can't have Gunther lose and then I'm gonna wrestle him again at Berlin just to win over there.
No, Austria and Germany is not the same. They're two different countries, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but no, because I remember in soccer, I remember seeing Austria versus
They may bill him from Germany. I'm just going off of
So Austria's right next to Germany. Yeah, it's off because you have Austria, Switzerland, Belgium, and the Czech right around that area. So yeah, it makes perfect sense, man. And Poland is right there too. It makes perfect sense for Gunther to win. I just look, man, and I think they built up Damian Priest to the point where he could, like you said, recover from her loss. I think that was their whole goal.
I mean, he's built up now to where he can, but then like, it just, to me, it would. I mean, and then again, honestly, when you look at this, Like, I looked at the SummerSlam card. Like, this is what you want for your SummerSlam card. Every title is being defended except the WWE tag team titles, the WWE tag team titles and the women's tag team titles, which might be on the kickoff show, because I feel like they're setting up Bianca and Jade to take on Fire and Dawn. Yeah, I feel like they're setting that up, and they're also doing the Smackdown titles are doing a tournament, or not tournament, but a 6-pack challenge this week to find out who the number one contenders are. And Johnny Gargano is from Cleveland, so I gotta believe they're gonna put him on that card. And his dad's restaurant, prayers with the family, nobody was injured, but his dad's restaurant that had been there for like 50 years got burned down.
You know what? I now I know why I like EA Minutes. Because look what he says. He says, I'm biased. I'm a Punk fan. You're damn right, EA Minutes. We're Punk fans over here. And if you have more Punk fans, please send them over to Squared Circle Digest. We want to blow this podcast with just CM Punk fans out here. Because CM Punk is WWE. He was AEW, though. And what they're talking about, and what Sean is talking about title matches and all that stuff, you're absolutely right. They're building it up like that, just like AEW builds all those for Dynamite. Shame. So,
because I was looking at the card and I was like, man, they actually are defending every title is going to be on the line at one of their big fours, and that's what you want to get to.
How
excited? Your other pay-per-views leading up to it, maybe not so much, but your big four, you definitely want to have.
How excited are you about this SummerSlam card? Do you like what you're seeing right now? I mean, you got
what's funny is when I look at it, I'm like looking at the build, and I'm kind of like, I'm getting a little bit more excited too, but I also don't know if it's more of anticipation of what could happen, or
Roman, right?
Or if it's the excitement of the card. No, well, it's the other things. It's too. Is Dominic going to turn on Rhea?
That's
you know what I'm saying? Like, does Gunther actually go over on? There's a lot of like unanswered things to where it's like
that's a good thing.
And usually you can look at like the pay-per-view after and go kind of like, okay, let's see how this is lining up. Okay, I can see this guy being in the pipeline. And when you look at everything going on now, who's in the pipeline to take on Cody at the next pay-per-view if Solo loses? There's nobody. With Gunther and Damian fighting each other, who's in position to be that next person? It isn't there.
Well, if Damian wins, it's supposed to be Seth Rollins, because that's the conversation that he had.
Again, there you go. But then now, you know what? The more I'm thinking about this, man, I don't know that Gunther wins, man. Because think about this. Drew at SummerSlam, everybody wants this match to be like, oh, CM Punk and Drew battle. What if he just lays them both out at the end and leaves? Curb stomp, double whatever, count out. He curb stomp outside the ring, whatever. Double count out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Damian wins, keeps the title. So now in the Bash of Berlin, it's Seth getting his title shot at Damian Priest. And actually, you could flip this around and say you could get it with Gunther too if you want to play it that way. But Seth Rollins going after the title, and who interferes? It's Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. And then now you built the three-way that way because, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Again, that's a lot of moving parts. But
there's a lot of moving parts.
But ultimately, I think those three could get there. Those three, and moving those parts. I believe those three.
I'm just trying to think, if Gunther was to win, who would be his next opponent?
When you look at it that way, I don't know, man. Finn.
I'm trying to think. That's what I thought about, Finn.
But then you gotta do something quick, and then why wouldn't Damian be? But again, maybe that starts putting that
it can't be
crack in the Judgment Day, because Finn's like, I'm gonna get the shot before you get your shot, your rematch, because champion always should get a rematch. But now if Finn gets that, I just don't know that you run it right back. And I see what No Doubt says, rematch with Damian, Gunther wins.
And I don't know
you run that right back unless you have a plan lined up.
I'm trying to think
Damian Priest to fight. If Finn costs Damian, then now you start the more of the crack. But like looking at everything, there's no set like path to where you say, okay, I can tell Gunther's going to win because this is the guy they're setting up.
I
don't
would,
see it.
I would have said Jay Uso, but now they included Jay Uso in the Judgment Day storyline. So that because Jay Uso and Gunther have some type of
Yeah,
back history,
they're again.
but
I
they
just
put him in
don't
there.
know at the Bash at Berlin. Man, I'm trying to think out loud, like who else could be or who hasn't been around, maybe that we're missing.
You could put Chad Gable. Maybe you could put Chad Gable in that story because remember Chad Gable at one point in time he fought Gunther and he almost beat
Yeah,
him. Well, he
yeah,
did
but
technically
then
beat
you
him.
would have to do. Like I
And
almost feel at some point you're going to get the Wyatt Six against the Creeds and Gable. Does that happen at Bash at Berlin? Not Bo Dow, not Uncle Howdy, but the other three: Rowan, Dexter, Gacy against Creed and Gable.
I don't know why I'm getting the vibes that we're gonna get that. We're gonna get Otis, Tajawa, and the newest member, Xavier Woods, against
Well, the
Chad.
thing is, Xavier Woods wants to go after Karrion Kross next week again. He said by himself because he doesn't want anybody else involved in getting hurt or anything else. So, like, I don't know that they're pulling him in yet. That's going to be the thing. But you could do Tozawa and Otis against the Creeds,
Brothers.
and then you could throw Gable against, like you said, Gable against there too. But I just don't know that that's going to be a good enough build because when is the next SummerSlam is 8/3, right? Saturday the 3rd.
Yeah, I remember Bash in Berlin is
And then
8:31.
Berlin's 8/31. So you got exactly about 4 weeks. You have about, you have 4 shows to build up whatever you're going to do.
Sean, for me, man, something is telling me that WWE is building for a fight, and I might be wrong on this, but something's telling me that they want to put Otis versus Chad Gable in one of these PLEs.
Yeah. No,
Something's
I think
telling
you're
me.
right. I think you're right. I just don't know how.
And I don't know if that's strong enough for one of those fights to
Well,
be.
it would be strong enough if you
significant.
put it as like your second or third match. Like it's not going to open a pay-per-view, and it sure as hell ain't closing a pay-per-view.
But then you bring
But
it
also
in,
now
so you involve the Wyatt Six in that.
Well,
match
that's what I'm
too.
saying. Like now I feel like no matter what Gable does from this point forward, Wyatt Six is involved in it somehow.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like, especially after that, the Sister Abigail this week and the way, the tribute to Bray and everything that they did, like I feel like Gable and that they're married to the Wyatt Six. Like wherever you see them, you're gonna see the Wyatt Six. After the beatdown the week before, and then what happened this week, like I don't think Chad Gable gets another like decent match.
I mean, it's hard because they have to close that storyline before they could move Chad Gable with something else. But at the same time, you have the Otis type of storyline too.
Yeah.
So that's why I have the feeling that they're gonna get involved.
But maybe it'll be Otis against Gable, and then you get the Creed brothers involved, beating up Otis or whatever, and then somehow the Wyatt. But see, that's the thing with like the Wyatt Six is the lights go out. It's not like somebody mysteriously shows up and nothing happened. Every time the Wyatt Six shows up, all the lights go out. So it's not like something where the ref gets bumped and somebody can slide in the ring and hit Gable with the Sister Abigail, and then Otis comes back in, hits the Caterpillar, gets the win. You know what I'm saying? Like there's more to this whole production than just.
Now, let me ask you something, because you mentioned a couple shows ago that the moment we get Uncle Howdy in a wrestling match, that's when the Wyatt Six is gonna probably like take a little bit of a backdrop. Did that happen with him?
No, because he didn't wrestle. No, he didn't wrestle. He just struck.
We saw him in the ring though.
Yeah, but he struck. He didn't wrestle. He didn't get a match.
Okay.
Remember what happened. But again, also they're doing this completely different than what the Bray Wyatt character was. Bray Wyatt was more of the supernatural stuff, and the problem that WWE had was trying to figure out how to bring all that together and make it make sense in the wrestling world. Because remember, some of the Bray Wyatt best stuff was what? The cinematic matches they were having during COVID.
Yeah.
Because then you could set it up to be what you wanted to. Once you brought him into the ring, you can't do stuff in the middle of a match. What do? Turn the lights out and disappear? I mean, you can do that, but the other stuff, like you can't really necessarily do.
Quick question. Were you upset that on the segment for the Wyatt Six that Nikki Cross didn't say anything?
No.
You didn't want her to talk like Eric Rowe did?
No, because again, I feel like with those characters, like you're not wrestling with the rabbit mask on. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to see the real Eric Rowan wrestle. You're going to see, I believe, Joe Gacy, I don't believe he's going to wrestle with a gas mask on. And I don't know that Dexter Loomis can wrestle with the buzzard beak on. What are you going to do? Headbutt somebody and bash him open with it?
They're not going to do what that guy from AEW is doing, that Minotauro guy or whatever his name is.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you want to, but also with that though is like, again, like Rowan probably could wrestle with the rabbit mask on if they fit it right. But like, I just feel like you're going to learn more about those guys on why they. Whereas Nikki Cross, to me now, with the way they've done her up, is like she's just playing that role where she just shows up, and when she shows up, you know what's next. Like she's almost become kind of the mascot of the Wyatt Six. Like, oh, here she comes. Oh, there they are. She's like the delivery. Here's the box. Here's the video. Like, I don't think she needs to talk because when she talks, you're gonna know it's Nikki Cross. Like, I like the screams and stuff. I like the way that it ended with her kind of just doing the scream, and then they did the reverberation of the scream and things like that. I just don't know that. And if she talks, you need her to talk softly and distort it because again, you know how Nikki Cross sounds. I think that takes away nothing is, but just that. The accent will take away from the character, I feel, unless you do something with the voice to spice it up more.
I want that. I want her to talk, baby. I need her to talk out there. I need her to go ahead and express herself just like they did with Eric Rowan.
Like everybody's calling her. I think everybody's trying to say like she's Sister Abigail, but there's still the sixth member that nobody knows about. Like, I still feel like that's Alexa Bliss. That's who's going to do the talking.
I don't see Alexa Bliss in this group. I don't know why. I don't see her. I just don't see two women in this Wyatt Six.
Or hey, how about this? Remember this too, by the way. What if Alexa Bliss came back and brought another group to fight the Wyatt Six? Remember, she's the one that turned on Bray at WrestleMania.
Correct.
And costed him against Orton. So what if Sister Abigail, or whatever Alexa Bliss is calling it now, ends up bringing back a whole nother group?
I don't think they'll go as far as to bringing out a whole group. I do feel that when Alexa Bliss comes back, then that's when you have a matchup for Sister Abigail. And then at the same time, you could start seeing who they could put together to help Alexa Bliss fight the Wyatt Six, because they're all gonna eventually help Nikki Cross.
If that's who Chad. Again, I keep saying Ivy Nile is going to be, but Ivy Nile still hasn't shown up with the Creeds and Chad Gable. I don't know if she's injured or not. And then, like, No Doubt says, "Are we sure there will be 6?" No, I'm not sure. Now, because again, they do spell it SICKS, but then they put the 6 at the end. So again, it's just a play on words, but will it be 6? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Now, Alexa Bliss could show up next week as Alexa Bliss, back to normal. I mean,
yeah, but the moment she shows up, you know that there's a storyline right there.
There's a built-in storyline somewhere down the line. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen right away, but
correct.
Definitely will. It'd be interesting to see that.
Now, Cat for Life has an interesting comment here. He says Otis and the crew need a new name. Do you agree with that? Do you think they should change Alpha Academy? Is it time for them to get over that name?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but I don't know what you call them, because it's just Oda, Tozawa, and Maxine. Like,
yeah. Well, and Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods is going to be New Day when it comes back, bro.
Yeah, but
I
Kofi
feel
Kingston is
man,
out for how long?
Let me tell you something though. Kofi Kingston's on the plane flying to Japan. So if he's okay to fly, he's probably, I mean, again, the injury was that arm that he did that lock on his arm, and they supposedly tore up his shoulder. But dude, you're flying to Japan. It's an 18-hour flight. You're fine to wrestle, probably, more than likely. So But I ultimately, man, like I feel, and knock on wood, man, because I hope it does happen. Like one of these times, I just feel like it's setting up to where it's going to be Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods in there with the Final Testament, and you're going to hear, "Oh yeah," and then boom, Big E's back.
I don't know about all that.
I feel like, and again, I don't know if it'll just be he comes in, clears house. Not saying he'll be back for a match or anything like that, but I just feel like it's setting up. It's feeling like they're gonna need that rescue, and it's gonna happen, man. I knock on wood, and again, maybe it's just me wishful thinking, and it probably is. But when I saw him go, when they did it the last pay-per-view, when he goes around ringside, he climbs into the ring, I was just like, God, man, I want to see that.
Have Big E taken any bumps? Have you heard of him taking any bumps?
I have not heard of him taking any bumps. I know he went and did the stem cell thing with MVP in Mexico. I know he was there, and he keeps, and again, it's more probably marketing type, but he did say that he hasn't ever felt better. He's going to see how the stem cells attach. I don't know how all this stuff works, so can't even say that anything there. But he's going to see if they take hold, how everything helps with his flex, I guess, his neck movement and things like that. And again, probably wishful thinking on my hat, but I just feel like there's got to be that payoff at the end. He took out Xavier Woods. They took out Kofi now. Xavier wants him one-on-one. I just feel like there's got to be something before those guys ride off into the sunset.
Wait, when you're saying that, you know what? You're probably making some sense here, because now that you said they took out Kofi, took out Xavier Woods, isn't that the same thing that they're doing with Cody and the Bloodline? And then we're all assuming Roman's going to come back?
Yeah. Yeah, because you don't know who else does Cody have watching his back. That's the thing. It's like you've taken everybody out. You've said you're going to take everybody out that backs up Cody, and you have. Except for people you don't expect, maybe.
So,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
so on SmackDown, you get Roman, and on Raw, you get Big E.
Yeah, but I don't think it's happening this quickly. I don't know.
If no. Obviously not. No, it's going to take a while.
Yeah, man. I mean, maybe Survivor Series, like I would love if they did like a Final Testament versus, Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and a mystery partner in like a street fight or something, to where you could bring Big E back. He doesn't have to take bumps, as long as he can. Again, he needs to get cleared. I don't want to see him come back and if there's even 2% chance that he takes a bump, and that's too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want him to come back to get hurt. But if everything is good and he's clear, man, I would so love to just have that eruption when you hear that voice say that in an arena. Like, it's going to be.
Well, I like the idea, but Karoom points out a very good point. He said, I just hope the New Day doesn't turn on each other. And I remember by him mentioning that comment that there was a point in time when Xavier Wood would look at Kofi Kingston and be like kind of like if they were gonna like have a feud between one another.
But I think it's changed because I believe Kofi's on the twilight of his career. Like, Kofi's time is winding down. That's why I think, like, in the next few months, if this is going to happen, like, I feel like they're trying to extend this as long as they can to find out if Big E can return. If Big E can't return, then ultimately I think you see the turn, and then maybe Xavier is the one that Xavier and Kofi has their match, their thing, and then that'll be, the end for Kofi.
This is a good segment, right? This is a good way to go to the next segment. Are you insinuating that WWE at one point in time will eventually, when his contract is up, I don't know, I don't want to insinuate either, but Kofi might be his last run in WWE, and they might let him go when his contract is up?
Yeah, I could see that, man. Again, the thing is, like,
and we have a group of people that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, you have the problem is this. Again, WWE way is different than what you see in wrestling. Like if Kofi's in the indies, maybe he's doing more, but he probably doesn't have as long of a career as what he's had in the WWE. And you've seen he's been hurt quite a bit.
How old is Kofi?
So
let me look it up. Kofi Kingston. Because I'm interested in that.
I want to say probably low 40s.
He's 42.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still young.
You're still young, but again, you take a toll on your body. A lot of guys, you don't understand how like, and I'll tell you right now, like I was only like a weekend warrior, but after I'd been out for like a year, like you start realizing like, oh damn, my hips, oh my back.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like it just gets my shoulders. Like everything is, and I haven't done half as much or even a quarter probably as many bumps as what Kofi's done, and he flies. So you even put even more, at risk there. But like, I don't know that Kofi I think this will answer your question. I don't think Kofi stays as a wrestler, but I think Kofi stays with WWE.
I think the only problem about him staying with WWE is that he's always linked with Xavier Woods, with Big E. So if Kofi's gone,
when I say I don't think he wrestles anymore. Is what I'm saying. I don't think you see him on screen anymore.
But the way I look at it is, if Kofi, whether he stays or he leaves, I think the next person to go as well would be Xavier Woods, because I just don't see Xavier Woods doing it on his own. They've been this New Day combo for so long.
Yeah, but Xavier Woods, he's got a good thing going. Like he's the only one that, he has the up, down, down podcast. They do the games things on WWE, network. They let him go to the game conventions and he does all that stuff. They've let him have, that run there, and they've let him bring back Adam Cole. They let him bring back Tyler Breeze, Claudio once or twice. Like they've let them come on, to those podcasts. So I don't know. Again, I don't think, maybe they give him a contract and they just keep him off TV, but I just don't see either of them leaving WWE. I don't think they want to leave WWE. Not that I'm saying that they love everything about it, but I feel like they're good with what they have right there.
So then that brings me up to the next thing you had on the list here, and that's our boy Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
What's up with him? Why do they want to possibly get rid of him? Because it looks like, I thought Bobby Lashley was a heavy hitter.
They want to get rid of them, but I just think that they've mismanaged him, and I don't know that you're going to get him back.
The last thing we saw
remember, his last feud was going to be the WrestleMania match with Bray. And then that didn't happen. And then they teamed them back up with Street Profits.
Yeah, that's the last thing I
remember. And PFAB, which was kind of thrown together. It was a cool thing, but what did they give them? They really didn't give them anything.
I felt like that group went down. Like
they were going to give them the Final Testament. And then when they did the Final Testament laid them out. And then it was never, Lashley's gone. So I just think it's mismanaged as far as what, Lashley feels, and probably rightfully so, that he should be, built as more of a main event guy. And I don't think that he's wrong. I think he's earned that. And if you can't find a place for Bobby Lashley, then you let him go.
I'm sorry.
But the thing that I would say to Bobby Lashley is the same thing I said to Ricochet. I think you're better off, if you do get released, stay open. Don't go sign with AEW. Don't go sign with TNA. Keep it open and go do whatever you want to do. Go and appear on AEW, appear on TNA, appear with New Japan, appear for all the things. You're gonna get paid.
This is my issue with you when it comes to Bobby Lashley. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's a main event wrestler. I don't. I think he's a middle of the card guy. I think he's more like an intercontinental champion. That's his peak.
Mind, bro.
That's his peak, bro. I know he won. I know he was a heavyweight champion during the COVID days, but I don't see him as a heavy hitter. I'm sorry, I don't. He don't. I always see him as secondary to like Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar is like
So
that guy.
wait a minute. Hold on a minute.
I'm
So
holding.
when you're looking at main event stars, what's the main event star right now in WWE?
You got Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
You got Seth Rollins.
Okay.
You got CM Punk.
All right.
got
You don't
Roman
think Bobby
Reigns.
Lashley is anywhere near any of them?
I don't think he's at that level. No.
Oh my God.
No.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Well, tell me why you think he's in the same
Bobby
level as
Lashley
them.
and Drew McIntyre feud got them through COVID.
That was COVID. Yes. That was COVID when we didn't even have any fans in the audience. We had TV screens or empty. There's something again. Thank you, Bobby Lashley. Thank you, Drew McIntyre, for getting us through.
So you're saying Drew McIntyre is not a main event person either?
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Has Drew McIntyre grown from the time that he has been when he was the champion back then during the COVID time to now? Has he gotten better or has he stayed the same, in your opinion?
He's gotten better because he got the opportunity.
Don't give me that. Don't give me that. You're not telling me that Bobby hasn't gotten the opportunity? Bobby's had plenty of opportunities too.
Has Bobby been on TV? When's the last time Bobby Lashley was on TV?
Probably when he was with the Street Profits. That was the last time I saw
Before
it.
WrestleMania.
Doesn't he have a say on what he does with his character?
No, you don't have creative. Dude, you're talking WWE, not AEW, bro. Yeah, you can sit there and say like,
it's like Jeff,
hey,
right?
I think I can do this. Hey, I think we can do this. But here's the other thing to this, and the other person we're going to bring up to here in a minute, MVP. Remember this group that started? There was a group called the Hurt Business.
Yep.
It was MVP, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander.
Yep.
They were getting pushed like kings. Then there was a group that WWE made. Because if you remember correctly, MVP, Bobby Lashley, and them had been grouped somewhere else before WWE. So that necessarily wasn't WWE's group. WWE didn't create that. Just like they didn't create the NWO. And when they brought the NWO, what did they do with that? They fed them to their guys so that their guys could grow.
Yes, 100%. You said that. You got that right.
This is exactly what happened with the Hurt Business. And then after that, you put them against each other. Then you brought Omos in, who had no real, like, he was a 7-foot monster, but no real experience.
Yeah.
And you got Shelton Benjamin no longer there. Yep. MVP's contract's up. Bobby Lashley's contract up. Cedric Alexander is teaming with some other guy now on NXT now.
Yep.
When they got drafted to SmackDown, but now they're sending them to NXT. Like, dude, if you're not a WWE product, and look, I'm not saying it's necessarily that way now, but it was that way before.
I agree with you on that.
They are victims, not victims, sorry, but they are part of that game. And again, I believe a lot more of it also goes to where you can only do so much and then think that I'm going to be okay with it. At some point, it's like, okay, what are you bringing me back to do? Oh, we're going to bring you back to lose to Karrion Kross. Yeah, I don't think that's in my best interest. I'll sit at home. I'll let my contract expire, and I'll go see what's out there for me.
You think that's what happened with Bobby Lashley?
I believe moreover than you're not. I'm not going to come back to TV to just lose every week. Like that's dude. Why?
I don't know, man.
And again, I'm not saying that Bobby Lashley doesn't resign, but if I'm Bobby Lashley, I want to know what you're doing with me before I say okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Like I'm not coming back to just get thrown into, a group just to be in a group. Like, no,
I
what are
agree.
you doing with me?
I agree because
And that's what I feel like happened to them once he left the Hurt Business, and as soon as the Hurt Business feud ended, it was kind of like, what do we do with him? I don't know.
No, but he had a couple of fights afterwards. He had that fight with Brock Lesnar, if I'm not mistaken, afterwards. After the
He had moments. He had moments, but what was the other, like, great, you had your moment, but
he had his moment with Omos a couple of times.
Got to back it, yes, but again, Omos. I love Omos to death. Nicest guy, but if you're Bobby Lashley, that's Omos. I want Drew. I want, the Lesners. I want the Codys. I want Seth Rollins. I want.
Well, but Sean, this is what you also got to look at. They put the belt on Bobby Lashley during COVID, right?
Well, it started before leading into COVID, and then Drew got the
true. Okay, so how did his sales, how did his performance, how did his character blow up? Did people say, hey, I want to go see WWE to go see the champion Bobby Lashley? Do I want to go see Bobby Lashley go against Drew McIntyre? At that time, we didn't know that. And I don't know.
And I'm not saying that everybody would want to necessarily go see him, but also look, man, you're telling me but here's the other thing, Frankie, is
go for it.
Like, you have the machine. You have a machine. Have you really put it behind Bobby Lashley?
At one point, they did.
When you're in COVID, that's like, again, I agree with you on that. It was COVID. But my thing is this, like, how do you know what he can and can't do?
Okay.
Like, you look at Bobby Lashley and you look at him and you go, that guy got it. I mean, yeah, he's not the greatest talker, which is why they had the MVP with them and everything there. But you're telling me, like, you can't make that work somehow? Even if it's a heel, like, at least, even if he's getting fed to Cody or something, you're telling me that you can't find something for Bobby Lashley to do on TV that is constructive, that can build him, that can maintain him. That's ridiculous.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because you're the wrestler, I'm the fan, so I don't know too much about this, but don't you have to take some responsibility of the blame if your character is not working, even though they're giving you a shitty storyline, shitty wrestler, point where I'm losing every single time?
Yeah, you do, but then once that's done and you've had enough of it, then you just, okay, I can only do so much with what you're feeding me.
Because
I can only verse AOP and Karrion Kross in so many matches. I mean, they were on like 4 pay-per-views in a row.
Because look, I mean, I don't want to sound wrong here, but I just feel like you're blaming WWE for his performance. And yes, I think they deserve the blame, but I also feel that he has to blame too. Like, he's not a mega superstar, in my opinion.
Here's the other thing too.
Sorry.
I'm not going to say that he's not got some blame in this, but to me, when you're in WWE, you have the machine behind you or you don't. It's not AEW.
Facts.
It's not AEW. Okay, that doesn't happen. And to me, I don't feel like they did the almighty thing and it was kicking, and then it stopped, and then they kicked it again, and then it stopped. And I know that there was other people besides the Street Profits that were pitched for the group. I know there was pitches to get the Hurt Business back together again.
But isn't that like trying to reach? If you're trying to put that group back together, it's like the last resort. You're trying to get that.
No, but see, that's the problem, though. It's not going to happen because it's not a WWE thing.
But what I'm saying is, Sean, you have to. If Bobby Lashley is relying, and again, I don't know. We're just talking here. If he's relying,
I know. I'm going off of what I see.
Okay, same.
And here's the thing: is this? If you're not in a group that WWE formed, you're not going to make it, bro.
I understand that, but you're saying that maybe, just maybe, Bobby Lashley wanted to kind of bring back some of the guys that were in that Hurt business. Let's just assume he was trying to do that.
My understanding, he wasn't the only one, but there was some people.
Okay, so that seems like a last hurrah you're trying to do to save your WWE wrestling career. Hey, let me try to get this because it worked back then, so let me bring it back because it works again. You have to be able to change your character and bring more. That's what makes wrestlers stand out.
But they have to allow it. They have to allow it. And Karun is somewhat right, but he's also somewhat wrong, because remember this: Bray Wyatt asked for his release. Why? Because they weren't giving him that creative control. With Vince McMahon there, he was not getting that control. He did not come back until Triple H took over, and he knew that Vince was gone.
Okay, so then why, if Triple H was able to do that for Bray Wyatt, why can't we assume that he hasn't tried to do that with Bobby Lashley?
Again, you hear the story so many times, you don't believe it after a while. Wrestling is a very finicky business, bro. Trust is very important. Trust is a two-way street. Once that trust gets dropped, it's tough to get it back. Look, you can say the story over and over, time and time again. At some point you go, that's the same thing they were telling me before. It didn't happen. Do I sign the dotted line in 3 more years of this? Or do I let my contract expire, sit for 90 days, and then go see what's better?
I guess that's up to the wrestler, right? That's his choice, his or her choice, and go from there. Like, let's say MVP, right? Yeah. MVP is another one whose contract's back. Now, I think MVP has had an exceptional career in WWE.
I think he's in the Samoa Joe category myself.
Yeah.
No, and I say that by this. I don't think WWE would let him have matches, is what I'm saying. They saw him as a manager. Just as when Samoa Joe got injured with the concussions, they said, you're going to be a commentator. Joe said, no, I want to be a wrestler. And he left. I believe that same thing is happening now with MVP. And you saw it happen now, too, with Raj Desi, who is the former Maharaj. He was told, you're a manager now. That's what you're going to do. And he's like,
So you're saying that MVP wants to wrestle?
I know for a fact he still wants to wrestle. Not necessarily,
why? He's so good at being a manager, and he's up there in age.
He is, but he wants to wrestle for his son to see. He's done a couple matches in front of his son. He wants to wrestle in front of his son. He's done small independent shows like CCW and things like that, but I believe he wants to see on the thing. And WWE, and again, it's a business decision, And
yeah, but Sean, you're also this is, and again, I don't have any knowledge when it comes to wrestling as far as like being an actual wrestler, because I haven't been there. I've never done it. But I'm thinking just different scenarios, like the UFC. When UFC fighters are there and they're continuously want to fight and they're getting old, like an Anderson Silva, like a Vanderlei Silva, another guy. Those guys ended up guy. They ended up hurting themselves, man.
Yeah,
and MVP's career has been amazing.
But it's not the same, man. It's not the same. Look, can you hold on for too long? Yes, we've seen.
Look at Ric Flair. Look at Ric Flair.
Yes, but he's not that he wants to be that. He just wants to have a few more matches. And the problem with WWE is once you're in that contract, they don't want him going to wrestle for other people to promote him. So if he was to re-sign, or if they re-signed him, then he's with them. And I believe it's a mutual parting. I don't think I think WWE has had their fill of MVP, and I think MVP might have had his fill of WWE. And the interesting thing is, look, here's one of the things I'll tell you about MVP. I've wrestled him more than a handful of times. And when he got into wrestling, a lot of us got into wrestling saying, I want to go wrestle for WWE. I was one of them. I was fortunate enough to get a tryout. MVP never wanted to go to WWE. MVP's end goal was to go to Japan. And he got that. He went to WWE, left WWE to go to Japan. He let his contract expire so he could go to Japan. And he became the first, I think it's what is the IWGP International Championship, or he was the U.S. champion. He was the first over there with I believe it was New Japan at that time. So, like, WWE wasn't his end game. That wasn't his. My dream's not to get, like, look, he's had WrestleMania moments with Flair, with Benoit. Like, he's done that. Now he wants to do it so that his son can watch him wrestle. Like, that's it. And again, he's also doing the stem cells for his knees and things like that. And he's doing jiu-jitsu competitions. I think he just got his card to do the one upcoming, I believe, in Houston. So he's got other things, other avenues. He's got him and I think it's DJ Sweezy. They're doing kind of like I wouldn't say like a label together, but it's kind of like, they got music going on and stuff like that. So he's got other things. Like, wrestling's not his end all be all. Like, it's what he likes to do, what he enjoys doing, but I don't think, like, that wasn't his end all. His end all wasn't like, I got to get to WWE and retire WWE star. No, that was never it. His end game was Japan. Like, that's where he wanted to go. That's what he wanted to do.
Well, look, the only person that can make that decision is obviously him.
No, exactly.
If he feels that WWE is not the end off, and that's not his main focus now is to wrestle for his kid, and that way he could see him and all that stuff. Well, then, yeah, probably his best case is to leave WWE, because WWE is not going to put him in wrestling matches. I mean, with all due respect, if I was in WWE, I wouldn't put him in wrestling matches, because you just finished saying that he's doing stem cells. He has issues with his knees. I want to try to take care of the wrestler. I don't want him to be in a ring where he could hurt himself. Granted, he's been doing this for many years, so I'm pretty sure he could take care of himself. But sometimes
then we need to bench Tyreek right now, sir, if you want to protect the players. Tyreek said he just went and got stem cells for his knees and everything else, so we need to pull him off the field, protect him.
Tyreek is not,
everybody does it, man. Everybody does that before.
I get your point.
You do it. Like,
but Tyreek is not 50 years old either, Sean. That's the thing.
And I'm not saying that he again, I'd say it's mutual. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. Either way, it's what.
If he's happy,
he's got to do their thing, and
exactly.
Look
at Christian. Look at Christian. I mean,
as he said on the post when all this stuff came out, he said, "Hey, I'm fine over here. I'm good. Thank you." And
if he's at the end of the day, it's for his best interest what he wants to do. Hopefully, he finds it, and if he feels that the best thing for him, his best interest is to move on and be able to do what he has to do, and he has other opportunities and other avenues, and also obviously other ventures, then good for him. Then at the end of the day, he did way, way more than expected. He will always be. I felt like MVP resurrected his career once again. Like, not career, but I would say he came back strong when he came back to WWE, because we all knew him as MVP, and then when he came as a manager, we're like, oh crap, cool. He's back to, like, he was reaching a high as well, and I was like, damn, I'm so happy for him. But at the same time, I always look at certain things, and people say change is bad, right? It's not always bad, but in my opinion, you also gotta look at the grass is not green on the other side all the time. So hopefully he weighs his options, and if he feels that it's better to go, then it's all good.
He's more level-headed than most people I know. And again, it's not like he's thinking, hey, I'm going to go somewhere and we're going to, because I show up, it's going to be this. No, I think it's more that, look, he wants to do what he wants to do. And that's what it's come down to. It's like Samoa Joe. He wanted to wrestle. WWE was like, you're not going to do it here. Okay, then I'll finish out my contract. Once I get released, then I'll go wrestle. Same with Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
WWE was not going to use him as a wrestler as much as he wanted to. And he knew he was winding down. He only had a few years left. And I'm not going to sit here and do the WWE style. I want to go out and I want to start. Same thing with John Moxley. When you look at Moxley, he could have stayed at WWE, got paid well.
Yeah.
But he wanted to be the guy that goes in hardcore and blood and everything else. And that's what his style is. More power to you, man. Go be happy. Do what your art of what you see your art of pro wrestling is. And so it's not everybody's, but again, you watch it all the time. WWE has their way of doing it. Yep. Ricochet, another one. Like, I don't know what's going on with that or where he stands, but again, when you watch the videos of before he went to WWE, you watch some of the NXT stuff, then you watch him on the main roster, he was handcuffed. He was not able to do what Ricochet could do.
Yeah, but when we talk about Ricochet, it's a little bit 50-50 because you saw his reaction and we got that from his girlfriend or his wife. I don't know if that's his wife or his girlfriend, but the announcer, forgot her name now. Yeah. But anyways, she was saying, she came out on social media and saying, you guys don't know what Ricochet is going through. He confesses a lot of things to me. So he's obviously taking it pretty rough.
Yeah.
So whether he probably wasn't able to do what he wanted to do, he obviously felt something was he didn't want to leave WWE. You could tell based on what she posted on social media. So his story is a little bit different, in my opinion.
Well, no, but the thing comes to this is
Samantha Irvin. Thank you, no doubt.
The problem, it's like, I don't know what the best way to say this is. It's a two-way street. Like when you handcuff somebody, WWE's not going to let him be himself. But Ricochet was okay with that because his dream was probably to be a WWE superstar. That unfortunately becomes like that eats at you, man. Like the toughest thing that I was probably told, and I think I maybe wrestled another year afterwards, was when I was kind of told, like, if I was about 30 pounds lighter and cut, I'd probably have a contract. But then at that time, I was 32, 33. And at that time, that's old. WWE wasn't signing people at that age. Like, that was the cutoff. So, and again, I looked at it and I was like, I was told I was good enough. I just didn't have the look. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, and at that point, I had busted my ass. The only thing that now, looking back on it now, and now knowing, again, years later, what everything I knew was, I probably would have ate a hell of a lot cleaner. You know what I'm saying? I bulked up. I mean, I got big. I was sitting at like 280, and I was big. I mean, like I'm big on the stomach. I didn't have but I didn't have a cut stomach. And at that time, and it's hard, man, to hear that. Like driving home from Tampa, bro, it was tough, man.
Of course, man.
It was a tough ride home, man. And I was just like,
nobody
that close. And and the funny thing is, who got one of the contracts at that tryout?
Who?
EC3.
Wow.
EC3 was the one that won the contract, and then they signed two other or three other people, but only two made it actually to the thing because one failed, I think, a test or something. But EC3 was the one that won that competition. Wow. At the time, he wasn't EC3 at that point. He was, I forgot what they were billing him as. But yeah, so and so again, it's tough when your dream, doesn't want you the way you want it. For different reasons, again, you know what I'm saying? But it's tough to sit there and hear, like, and again, I can only imagine he's been there for 5-6 years. And now to be told that, again, I don't know what was said or who was said, or, did he go and be like, well, you know what? I think we've got what we can get with Ricochet, and creatively, we don't know what to do with him from this point on. Like sometimes it becomes that, man. It becomes a creative. What's the best way? You almost become a creative cap casualty because you only have so much TV time. You have guys always moving up, and it's like, okay, if Ricochet's on TV, who are we pulling off? And sometimes it comes down to those numbers because if you look at it lately, like they're pushing more of the women's than they ever have. There's been more women's matches on Raw and SmackDown than any time. And again, not saying there's a lot, but there's like 2 or 3 each week, whereas before you might be lucky to get 1.
Yeah.
So now you're losing that TV time. So it becomes, and again, is all this also the other thing, the wrestler in me says, can this be a work? But see, the problem that I have with the whole thing is like, I wish Braun Breaker would go more to Samantha Irvin and just tease it. Don't have to do anything. Just look at her. Don't say anything. But then you start thinking like, oh, maybe Ricochet's coming back. Because you don't know. You never say never. Again, I don't know what the contract deals are and how much money they're asking for and different things like that. But I just feel like there's more to this because Ricochet hasn't shown up anywhere. Nowhere. And he didn't have the 90-day club. My understanding was he extended to finish out what he was doing, and he was clear. So he could have showed up the next day at AEW.
That's why I'm telling you, it hurt him. It hurt, like you said, a two-way street. He probably wasn't able to do as much as he wanted to do, but at the same time, he was comfortable. He loved being in WWE, and it's taken a toll on him because you're right. He hasn't signed with anybody. He could have gone anywhere. I'm pretty sure he's getting offers left and right.
I'm sure there's a whole bunch of GCW. They seem to be giving, again, maybe one-shot deal, but he hasn't shown up anywhere else to wrestle.
That's how you know that. That's how you know, Sean, that it hurt him, the fact that he's not in WWE anymore. That's how you know that he really, whether he wasn't fulfilling his full potential, maybe.
No, let me rephrase it. If I said that he wasn't filling his potential, that's not what I mean. WWE will not allow Ricochet to be reckless like he is on the independent circuit. They're not going to allow that in their ring. They do
and they
not.
Have their right.
All their dives usually are pretty simple. There's no like even Sami Zayn, like that's the first time he's done that in a while, where he gets up and he does the split leg and then goes out.
All right.
Like he does that every once in a while.
Let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that?
What?
That WWE sometimes holds back the wrestler for whatever reason. It could be safety, could be because they don't want him to get hurt, it could be because they don't like him doing those things. Maybe they feel like,
I think you have to make a business decision and say, okay, do I want this guy doing all this crazy stuff and going outside and shattering his ankle and being out for 8 weeks? Or do I control it to where, okay, you'll get to do a dive here, you'll get to do your 450 finish, which he could still get injured, don't get me wrong. But when you're only doing 2 or 3 of those moves instead of the whole match that way, there's a lot less chance of that happening. Is there still a chance? Yes, but it's a business decision. Like, you can't go out there and say, we don't want our wrestlers getting concussions, and you're hitting people in the head with chairs. Like, that used to always crack me up at the beginning when they were like, oh, we don't want our wrestlers getting concussions. Bam, there's a chair shot. It's like, then they went to the back, the chairs at the back, and I was like, okay, it's a business. You have to do that. If you're going to sit there and say you're worried about head injuries, you can't be hitting people in the head with chairs. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
You gotta. I get the perspective of the wrestler because he's gonna push to say, "Hey, I'm capable of doing this and not get hurt." And I understand the WWE.
That's also why every once in a while pay-per-views you'll see something that you normally don't see, because they're like, "Look, on Raw, I don't need you doing the 450 to the outside. If you want to do it during the ladder match, or on PLE or something, okay." Because, and then like No Doubt saying, they put a lot into their storyline. So if somebody gets hurt, you've ended, like, for instance, here we go. Here's very simple stuff. If you remember when Sheamus returned, who was supposed to be his opponent?
Recently?
Yeah.
I think the last person that he fought was Edge, wasn't it?
Well, no, it was supposed to be Kaiser. Here recently. Kaiser got taken out with the Braun Breaker thing when Breaker, I think, ran through him. He got a concussion and everything else. So now they're like, well, what the hell now? We had this whole storyline set to go. We've already made all these vignettes of Kaiser being better than everybody. You saw a couple of them released, and then he was doing that with Sheamus. He gets hurt. Now it's gone to where now Sheamus was going with Bronson Reed. Then he was going with, and now it's with Pete Dunne.
Yeah, he's with Pete Dunne.
Because now they're trying to figure out where to throw him. Like, you've totally messed up that whole thing because of one injury. Now you've got 3 or 4 wrestlers that are falling behind because Pete Dunne was supposed to have a small feud with Bronson Reed on Raw. And now that changed because they're trying to set it up to be with Sheamus. So those things, like...
But that's when you have to improvise as a wrestler and be able to sell it as best as you can. Because if you're able to improvise and say, hey, look.
But how do you sell it when you're knocked out? Like, he was legit, like, out. Like, he didn't move.
No. I'm talking about, like, for example, obviously Kaiser was his opponent, and now they've moved him to Bronson Reed, and now they brought him to Pete Dunne. So now it's up to Sheamus to sell that as best as he can, because what's going to happen?
The creative team and the reason, you know why they went to Pete Dunne, right?
No. Why? Why did they go?
For the whole story of Sheamus abandoned them when he got hurt. And that's the storyline that's playing out. Because remember, when he got hurt, it was Pete Dunne and the guy that's with Chase U now. The guy that hurt Big E.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. So, what were they called?
They were a tag team. They're the Brutes, the Brawling Brutes.
The Brawling Brutes. There you go.
So then it was just them because Sheamus left them or got hurt or however you want to look at it. So now that's how the storyline went, because they couldn't figure out how to make it make sense anywhere else, because that's what you had to do now.
Yeah, but remember, man, as a wrestler, in my opinion, things happen, bro. And it's unfortunate. There's injuries that happen, unfortunately. But this is where, if going a little bit back to Bobby Lashley, is where you have to be able to sell these now feuds, like what they've been saying in the chat board. WWE invests so much on your story.
So many times, though, Frankie. You can only battle back so many times. This isn't look, Lashley left originally for poor booking, went to TNA, rebuilt himself like Drew McIntyre did, went to other indies and TNA and Impact and everything else, rebuilt himself to where WWE brought him back. And then the same thing has happened. Like, yes, the talent has to help out and do everything they can do. But when you're written into so many, you can only battle through so much. Before people lose faith in you.
And you burn yourself out to the point where you're like, I don't want to sacrifice myself anymore because I don't see.
And that's where I believe Bobby Lashley is at now.
Yeah.
Like, I've done this so many times. Like, I thought I was going to get the reward at the other end of it, and all I got was another bad storyline or another, what they feel is a bad storyline. I'm not going to say that, it's always on, WWE or whatever, because sometimes, look, storylines have to play out sometimes. Sometimes when they're presented, they're garbage. But then as it plays out, then it's like not everything turns into The Rock, Roman, Cody, that whole saga. Not every storyline turns into that. You have your good, you have your bad. And it also goes with what, as you said, the talent performing it out too.
You
have one not wanting to be there, it's going to show.
Yeah. Look at Sammy when he was in the Bloodline and he blew up with just one term.
Well, their whole thing was, the behind that, right?
And what was behind that?
Like, if you ever saw it, it was always trying to make Jay break character. If you watch Roman, it was a game between Roman and Sammy and Jimmy. It was always trying to make Jay break character. There's actually an X on it. It's pretty cool to where like they always break. They get Jimmy to break character every time. Roman's got Jay in a headlock and he's pounding on him and he's saying something to him. And Jay starts smiling and laughing as Roman's punching him in the face in a match. You know, it's sometimes you just got to have fun with it, man. And that shows. And that's what happened with that whole Uzi thing.
Yeah.
It became more than it was like, wait a minute, we've got something here, correct, which is going to help us extend because now we don't have to use what we were going to use because now Sammy's extended life into this because we'll use Sammy for 2 or 3 months and then I'll feud with Sammy and then we'll go back to what we had to do and we don't have to worry about 3 months of TV.
And not only that, it blew up Sammy.
Yeah, and it helped Sammy.
Because at one point in time, before all that, they were thinking they were gonna release him. They were gonna let him walk.
They didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah, and look
they
how
were lost. They were lost, and that's the whole thing. It's like
I know we've been taking quite some time about this topic, but I always want to get look. I know that everybody has their opportunity. Look, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I may have not always. You know, I didn't have that dream to be a wrestler, but I could tell you this much. I've always wished since I was a jit that I could fly planes and that I could be a pilot. And yes, I've had opportunities. I had an opportunity to go to school and learn and actually do all that stuff. I even tried out for the Air Force because I was like, you know what? If I go to the Air Force, it's the quickest way for me to become a pilot. Unfortunately, my eyesight sucks. So that didn't help. So it was hard for them to tell me, Frankie, your chances of, doing all this, you can still join the Air Force, but that's going to hold you back. And then I had to make a judgment decision as to, do I want to do this or should I try something else? And it's led to other things. So even though certain things doesn't always fall in line, there's always open doors in other avenues, man. I know that you probably, unfortunately, weren't able to get the shot that you wanted to be in WWE, but you want to know something, and I know this might be the worst consolation prize, but you were able to meet Frankie Fresco. If you would have been in WWE, you would have never met Frankie Fresco. That's a consolation prize, sir. You would have never been able to do the big old radio show. There's a lot of things, man. You could have probably been able to enjoy your family. Stuff like that. That's why I look at certain things. Look, my life hasn't been the best.
No, I would never look, man, for everything I've done, and I would not change anything. But again, it does. I think a lot of people, and it goes back to what happened with Stephanie Vacour. Everybody's like, why would she go to WWE over AEW? She's always dreamed of being in WWE, and she felt loyal to WWE, I think, because of what they did for her with her family in Chile or whatever. She had a tryout. So again, I think that's the thing that nobody thinks about is like, look, up until 5 years ago, nobody dreamed of being in AEW. That was not anybody going into wrestling wasn't going, I can't wait to be on TNT next week.
Sean, I never had in my wildest dreams, think that you were going to call me and tell me, Frankie, you want to do a podcast together? Never ran through my head, bro.
I wish I never thought of it myself. But,
You're such a hater. You love me. I love you too, bro. You got my back. I got yours.
Yes, what a prize you are.
We're showing our love for each other, our bro love.
I love you, man. You're my boy, Blue.
I love you, bro. Damn, we haven't even talked to AEW. We're already going for 2 hours.
Let's go to AEW, man. All right. The Dynamite numbers are in from the thing. 795.
What a disappointment. Jesus. They couldn't even crack a mill.
Here's the thing. The first hour opened with 871 from their lead in from the Big Bang Theory. Then it went to 829, 834, 834, 841. 841 was the ending of the MJF Ospreay heading into the 9:15 hour. As soon as that match ended, they dropped to 764, then to 734, then to 701, and then they ended at 685.
What followed the MJF Will Ospreay fight? Do you remember?
There was the Young Bucks in the backstage area with Mercedes Moné. Then that led into Mercedes Moné and the DMD It's Sting.
Okay. And then after that was the learning tree, right?
Yeah, I believe the learning tree was right. That was Suzuki, yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure because I
And then
wasn't
it
sure
went
if it was the
into
learning
the
tree
main
first
event,
before
which
the
was
next.
Swerve and Okada, and then which led into the whole thing of Darby falling from the, or not falling, dropping from the ceiling. Or
Man,
or
that's concerning, dude.
look, man, here's the one thing that I wonder. They went up. They went up.
Not enough, man.
So, but now here's the thing. There was only 3 wrestling matches on that card. I don't remember Dynamite ever only having 3 matches.
For that reason,
if you look at this AEW Dynamite this week, again, they said this one was going to be stacked as well. 3 matches again. One being, of course, the blood and guts.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho versus Suzuki, and Dr. Brick Baker versus Hikaru Shida, who likes to injure Sky Blue.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something though, Sean.
Yep.
It's a concern because you have your main guys wrestling on a Dynamite. You have Will Ospreay, MJF. You have Mercedes Moné on the women's side.
You had
all your Swerve.
You had all your faces and your top talent all made an appearance on those Dynamite.
And you can't crack a mill? That's not good, bro.
They don't have the casual wrestling fan, bro. Like a lot of people say,
but you're losing the casual fan.
We don't want the casual wrestling fans, but you don't. They've lost half of their. Look at this, man. They were
their regular fan base has been.
They started 871, and everybody stayed. I will say that MJF Ospreay, they stayed for that match. I mean, it dropped 841. But that's not a lot. It's like 30,000 people dropping from when finished watching Big Bang Theory to it's wrestling. Okay, boom.
But
that's going to happen. That's going to happen. The problem
you're telling me more people like Big Bang Theory than wrestling?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Think about this. Remember the one time they had the lowest ever AEW Dynamite. Black Panther was the lead-in because it was a holiday. And it was the July 4th, I believe. It was July 4th. So Black Panther was the lead-in. And they were like, we didn't have a strong lead-in this night. It was the Black Panther movie. We didn't have our Big Bang Theory leading us in. Big Bang Theory usually starts them at around 900.
Wow.
And then they drop. And then they drop from there. And then they drop from there. Think about it. 841 on the first. 871 they started with. 871. That's leading from Big Bang into the show.
They lost 30,000. Yeah.
They lost 30. They lost 40,000 in the first segment. Then they gained 5,000. They stayed the same, and then they gained 7 at the end.
That's what I'm talking about, no doubt. More people watch a decade-old Big Bang reruns than AEW. Are you shitting me, bro? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, that's bad. It's bad.
My cause for concern would be this: as soon as that match ended, you lost 80,000.
Well, Mercedes Moné is supposed to be the image of the women, and look.
But I mean, but the fact that they didn't, they said, that match is over. That's it. We're done. Like that's it. I'm out. And then you lost consistently after that. You lost another 30 after that, another 30 after that, and then you ended with another 25 down. So you dropped 30, 60, 90, 105 by the end.
So even your loyal fans are leaving your show.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
It's terrible, man. Sucks.
Like you're not getting in there. And then here's my other thing, man. I feel like the title switch was just like I got you. What the hell does MJF need to do with the international title? Like, where are they going with this?
No, I think they have to include.
Listen, you're gonna tell me your big match at Wembley is MJF versus Pac is one of your big matches. That Will Ospreay against Pac makes sense because you got the high flying against each other. And
not even why? I mean, with all due respect, but why is Pac in a main event fight?
You did the thing. This is what I think is going to happen.
That's bad. That was a bad decision.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. The week before All In, MJF is going to get challenged by Will Ospreay again. They're going to run it back. And when they do, Daniel Garcia is going to cost MJF the match. And you're going to get Daniel Garcia, MJF, Will Ospreay, Pac. Because, dude, don't tell me you messed up your all-in pay-per-view to get a contract with Warner Brothers. And if these are the numbers you gave, so what are you going to do? Every week have an MJF Ospreay hour-long match? Because your heavyweight champion at the end of the night, I love Swerve, don't get me wrong, but his match was doing a 7:01. Your lady that runs the place did a 7:64.
That's the concern too, man.
And no doubt, say MJF, he was doing the Garcia stuff. He had Ospreay's head, and he was, throwing his hips into his face. He was doing all the things to keep Garcia. They have to be running
this is the only thing. I feel that they are gonna have Garcia with MJF, but I don't see it at All In, man. I see it in All Out. I don't know how they're gonna do MJF versus Pac.
I hope that's not.
I mean, I again, no disrespect to Pac, but Pac should not be in that position.
I agree.
Man.
When they said that
on the ball with that, bro.
When they were like the winner of this match versus Will Ospreay or MJF winner at all, I was like, what? Because then I automatically went, okay, it's either Claudio or Pac, because none of these other guys are going to wrestle. I did think maybe Kyle Fletcher wins it, and you have Kyle Fletcher against Will Ospreay. That could be a good story.
No, and it's in Wembley, exactly.
Wembley,
so
you know what I'm saying? Like,
they know them over there.
That could have been like, okay, but then Pac is also from over there. So, like, I get why he's getting that.
Is Pac that big over there?
We'll find out. So. We'll find out, man.
It's a little bit rough, man. I'm not going to lie. I thought that's where they dropped the ball.
I thought they dropped the ball where they damn damn it. Nope. I thought giving the MJF the title with 2 seconds left was dropping the ball.
No.
Like I
no.
just
You want to know why? Because No Doubt says I thought running out of time was going to be the best ending, but they've done that. They've done that multiple times. So it's predictable. No. I'm fine with MJF.
But I did like this part. I did like this part. And again, after watching it again, and then I fell down a rabbit hole again, watching all this stuff. what it showed, the story they told. Because at first, like I was like, okay, yeah, it was a good match, but I didn't understand the story till the very end. And after watching it again, now I get it. Will Ospreay wasn't willing to do whatever it took to keep the title. MJF did. Will Ospreay, if he hits the Tiger Driver 99, match over.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He hesitated, couldn't do it. MJF had a chance, said, Dynamite Diamond Ring on, bam, 1, 2, 3. It's over. I'm the champ. You couldn't pull the trigger. I did.
Good analogy there.
You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like at least they after watching it, I was like, okay, all right, I see that. But where does it go from here? Like that's what, because now if you look at it, Ospreay now has had 2 big matches and he's lost them both.
Yeah, remember we said there's no way he's gonna lose back-to-back matches, and now look, now he has, bro.
You lost to Swerve and you lost to MJF.
And not only that, but was he selling it? The injury on his shoulder? Was he selling it?
He was working like the injury, like he was
like if he injured something. It wasn't that he actually did tweet.
Well, no, they popped it back in supposedly. I didn't get to see
so
it.
It was?
Yeah,
was
well,
it?
like,
because he was acting like he hurt him.
And then the doctor does something, but I can't tell you that it was popped out. I didn't see it. Like the way they didn't show a good camera angle, and then they showed the doctor adjusting, and they're like, "Oh, he just popped the shoulder back in. He's still going." Like whether it's really did or not, I don't know. But I know you can do that because I've had that done.
Well, yeah,
I popped my shoulder out with a bulldog off the top rope, and then they ran me into the steel pole to pop it back in.
Jesus Christ!
Luckily, I was in there with some good veterans. They held me through me because I was scared. I was scared. It was like my 10th match. I had no clue what the hell was going on.
That's why when you told me, Frankie, I'm gonna throw you through a table, I'm like, oh Lord.
All you gotta do is just lay flat, man. You lay flat.
Yeah. It sounds easier said than done, especially since I haven't done a wrestling move ever. But okay, I mean, the only wrestling move I ever did was when
I'll tell you what. Me and you will work on throwing through tables, and then we'll do it for real. So, but yeah. So I did think that was interesting. I mean, it's scary though that Tony Khan,
Yeah, man.
And again, here's the other thing is, I had it saved and now my phone went off. Here's an update on the Warner Brothers AEW deal. Is expected, but is not done. Fightful Select has confirmed. On July 23rd, word emerged that a Warner Brothers WBD AEW deal was imminent, with others saying that there was an agreement in principle. However, Fightful Select sources close to WBD's stance says there is nothing imminent, meaning over the next few days. Either company is not planning to announce a new deal imminently, and we're told the framework of a deal has not been agreed to by both sides. Both AEW and WBD expect a new deal to be reached and the relationship to continue, and say that things continue to be amicable. Tony Khan and David Zaslav are both scheduled to be in Paris for the Olympics, plan to meet. Sources close to the situation tell Fightful Select. This meeting has been planned for months, but it was stressed that it's not a guarantee they'll reach a deal there, though they are supposed to have conversations regarding the deal. Other sources close to the situation say that an offer has likely been made, but stress that there is no agreement in place as of today. Fightful had heard that there was an offer months ago from WBD to AEW, but it hasn't been agreed upon and still being negotiated. Now, with that being said, if you're on the international side and you have Max, AEW is starting to put their library on there.
I saw that. And I heard about that.
It has not happened on the U.S. side, but it has happened internationally. And there's talk that the pay-per-views may go to Max.
That's what I heard.
Now, will that help AEW out? Because now you're not paying $50 for pay-per-views.
I don't think it will, man. If their storylines continue to be as uneventful as possible, I don't think even going to that network.
That's where I think. Look, I'm not gonna say I think they'll go.
Actually, might hurt them.
No, I think they'll go up because again, I'm not paying $49.99 to watch great matches when I can go and pay $20 for a ticket to an independent show and see maybe not Will Ospreay against MJF, but I can still see good wrestling matches with semi storylines. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't feel like.
What were the numbers for Forbidden Door?
I don't feel like this business plan is been thought about overall.
Because the way I looked at it, to be honest with you, I've seen every year Forbidden Door kind of be lackluster. Like it's gone down. It's diminished one after the other. And I'm not saying it's because of the price. I'm just saying the storylines, the matches, they have not lived up to expectation when it comes to when you're comparing it to the first ones. That's why I feel that if you move them, yes, you'll have maybe an initial pop on Max, but eventually you're going to lose them. Just like you've been losing all their fans in Dynamite.
For the first 3 years, it was
just like you lost Collision fans.
Yeah,
because now I don't even know how that's surviving.
Well, because it's a show on Saturday, and until football season comes back, it'll be one of the higher rated shows on Saturday.
We got college football right around the corner.
College football comes back, dude. Please.
I mean, they went to the point where they hired that guy, Hologram.
Yeah.
Hologram.
Yeah, he was a AAA guy. He was a AAA guy.
Yeah, that seems like you really are trying hard, man.
Dude, I mean, Tony Khan, he's that damn, I'm trying to think. Like, I guess you could say it's
crazy.
Well,
people were comparing it to the RoboCop back in the day, WCW.
Well, do you believe that there's more production to that character than what they did? Like, there's going to be a whole it's going to be crazy. And some people thought it was Ricky Starks. I looked at his arms and I was like, "No way, that's Ricky Stark."
No, that's not Ricky Stark. No.
And then they're like, "Oh, it's Ricochet," and Ricochet is like, "Yeah, I must have took off my tattoos and skin color changed."
No.
Like, bro, I mean, are you that hard? Like, and it's already been said. It's not like AEW hid anything. They said they signed the guy from AAA. Like, I mean,
no, and they announced who the guy was.
It's what fans do. Like, they just try to find something. I thought, look, he's not my cup of tea. Hologram's not.
Same.
He's all spots, but it's cool for kids. Like Rey Mysterio to me. Rey Mysterio in WCW, he changed when he got to WWE. But in WCW, in ECW, I liked him. When he went to WCW, not so much. Then when he got to WWE, I was kind of like, okay. They gave him a little bit of it. And then when he got with Eddie Guerrero and then the feud with Eddie and all that stuff, and with Batista and things like that, I was like, okay, all right, I see it now. But like, I'm not the guy that like, it pains me. Like, I was watching Rampage and Collision, and I thought they got better after Evolution, but then they fell off again. Like, I'm not going to sit there and watch a show to critique a show that's bad. I'm trying to stay as positive as I can, and it's like watching those shows. The matches are great, but when you watch AEW, you know the matches are going to be good. Are there going to be little botches and slips and everything? Of course, it's pro wrestling. Happens everywhere.
Yes.
But the matches never, like, are terrible. But, like, why is that guy wrestling that guy? And this guy's wrestling this guy. And all of a sudden, Ishii is part of the conglomerate. Like, dude, why? It's like the blood and guts match. Like, Darby Allin is to Tony Khan as Brock Lesnar was to Vince McMahon. In emergency, break glass. We need a fifth member. Darby, let's go. Like,
Darby fought in Collision.
Yeah, I get what he is and what he means to, but it's like, bro, like this 5 guys is Swerve, Mark Briscoe, the Acclaimed, and Darby Allin. Like, that's your representation of AEW? And I get it. It's on Dynamite, so the EVPs are going to win. But at some point, Elite versus AEW, Tony Khan's got to do something to change it up. Like, Tony Khan needs to come out and be like, I'm putting AEW on the line. Make it mean something. But I'm picking my 5 guys. And you get guys that, you know what? And you do it like a traditional Survivor Series match, to where at some point you could have 5-on-1 or however you wanted to do. And it looks very bleak. And it's one guy left and he ends up fighting and winning it all. And it's not that I don't buy Darby being AEW. I get that he's AEW. But every time he's in a match, I'm going, okay, he's the guy that's going to get hung upside down and kicked with the exploding shoe. He's the guy that's going to get thrown off the top of the cage. Darby's there to, just like this match, Mark Briscoe's there to bleed all over the place. That's Mark Briscoe's thing in there, because the Acclaim's probably not going to bleed. Swerve will bleed.
Yeah, Swerve will bleed.
Darby will bleed. So now you've got
Jack
those
Perry will bleed. Jack Perry will bleed.
Yeah, Jack Perry will bleed. EVPs will bleed, probably. Okada probably won't. Hangman will. Like, it's just going to be bloody. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be violent. Like, that's
blood and guts.
Yeah, but to me, that doesn't make it great.
And you want to know something? No Doubt said Darby gave a nice speech. And no doubt, you're right. He did give a nice speech. So did FTR, because FTR came. But been there, done that, man. We've heard those nice speeches. It gets repetitive to the point where those nice speeches don't mean as much or don't impact as much as back in the day.
It impacts the live crowd, but it doesn't. Like, again, as you're sitting at home, you're like, oh, I've seen this. I've done this. I've heard this.
Remember that FTR speech where he went ahead and he was talking about, I think it was his daughter that was fighting. I don't know, I think she had cancer or something. And then everybody felt it and we're like, damn, bro, what a freaking speech. Amazing.
Girl strong.
And then you have him talk about it again, saying, we've been through up and down and this and that. And we're going to come back and we're going to win the AEW championship belts and tag team belts and try to make it heartfelt like that one. And sorry, with all due respect, but I already saw that. I already heard that. Like, you're not going to, it's nothing new to me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And then let me ask you this, because I am curious about this. This past Collision was in Arlington, Texas.
The next 6 collisions are in Arlington, Texas.
Why in God's green earth are there so many damn collisions happening in Arlington, Texas? What the hell was that?
They are doing a residency. They signed a contract with the city of Arlington or whatever it is, to where they will be there for the next 6 weeks, I think. And then they're doing one of the pay-per-views will come back, I think, and be there, or San Antonio, something like that.
Yeah, because I remember when I was watching Collision there, it said Arlington is leading us to All In, and I was like, leading us to All In, and then I looked at the events and I said Arlington, Arlington, Arlington. I'm like,
Yep.
why? Now are
So they worked out a deal with them to be the first residency kind of where they go. The stadium's pretty nice. It's like it's a small venue, but
Yeah, I saw that.
it helps out. I think it fills out what they need for that Collision.
But my question to you is, are they getting the ticket sales for that? Because if you have your casual fan, you don't have that with AEW. So who's gonna go and show up? And if you have your loyalty fans, are you gonna consistently go every weekend for the next 6 weeks to go see AEW Collision? I'm sorry, I like AEW Collision. I like AEW, but I'm not gonna go 6 weeks straight, bro. I probably go to one show and that's it. I'm not gonna go see more than one show. So that's why I was thinking, I was like, why would they make that decision to do that? Like they don't have the casual fans. It can't. I'm trying to compare it to NXT because NXT always has their, that studio in Orlando. But I'm pretty sure that studio in Orlando holds a lot less than that.
It does, and it's first come, first serve. It's like what TNA used to do when they did it at Universal Studios. You lined up early, and then they would open up the gate outside. They would let you into the next area, and then that means you made it onto the show, basically.
I'm just curious about that, man, because I don't know how they're gonna get their arenas that venue filled up for 6 weeks straight. I don't know.
I don't know how this is reading here.
That is the only thing that got me confused, and I was like, man, because their fan base is not that strong enough, in my opinion.
So All In right now is at 40,964 with very little movement since last week.
And before you continue, sorry about that. They have the venue, or they're supposedly, to make it a success, because they're not have the same one. It's about 51,000 they need to sell.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
and they're nowhere near that. They're 11,000 short right now.
So it looks like there's the Arlington setup holds, I think they said 2,500, I believe, or something around there. Let me see if I can get actually Wrestle tickets.
So 2,500?
I believe that's what it is. But let me get to
I read something. I don't remember where I went online, and they were breaking down each. I should have saved it, and it would tell us how many tickets have been sold in each venue. And I was trying to see about that Arlington, and it would say 1,000 tickets being sold and stuff like that. I'm like, man, are they really selling these tickets at Arlington? Because it just doesn't seem like they.
What I don't understand is they keep doing they keep running Chicago, man. All Out is in Chicago.
They bank so much on Chicago, bro. It's crazy. They really, really bank on Chicago. And I know that they did it before with CM Punk, but
do you know what the arena is that they're using for? Sorry,
for AEW?
Oh, right here it is. Here it is. Okay, so this was the setup is 1,268. So 1,200 fans it can hold. 1,268 with the setup.
1,200 fans.
Yep. And they had 30 tickets available for the July 20th.
Damn, they weren't even able to sell 1,200 tickets, bro. Wow. And it's at the Esports Stadium. That's where it is. Esports Stadium in Arlington.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, yep. Mm-hmm. And they actually had walk-ups because during the day they still had 117 available.
And who knows at what amount of price they're selling these tickets? They're probably selling it for like $30.
Yeah.
Just to get people there.
And just so that we're being fair here, the WWE Tour show in Lakeland, August 17th, has a setup of 3,700, and there's still 1,000 tickets available there. So they've sold about 2,700.
That's still better than AEW, though.
At the Lakeland show. And then there's one in Estero.
Oh, we should go to that one.
I like Estero. There's a super show in Estero, which, where's that? There's the Kia Center. There's Green Bay. Hold on a minute. There it is. The Hertz Arena, Estero, Florida. The setup is 5,658. There's still 2,400 tickets available. So they sold about 32. And that's going to be a super show. So that will have Raw and SmackDown.
It's not bad. I've been to Estero, Florida before.
Yeah. No, it's a good little stadium. It's a nice little stadium. That's where the Riverblades play, I think, or something. There's a small hockey team there. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about was, I don't know, I think that's about it, man. Was there anything else that we did not cover that you wanted to talk about, or anything on the chat real quick before we... Solar Bears, that's it, no doubt. Thank you.
Those Solar Bears, yes.
Yes, I remember driving by there all the time. There's a hockey team there.
Sir, I mean, I know we got a last. I know we probably won't get that many people reacting to it, but TNA Slammiversary.
Oh my goodness!
Slammiversary.
You know what's funny is I wrote down the other one and I didn't write it on this one. Yes, TNA Slammiversary. We watched it. Had some issues watching it live.
Yeah, me too.
We ended up having to watch it the next day, and overall I liked it. But then they also there was an issue where some of the surprises that they originally wanted to have scheduled to show up were unable to make it because of the whole
security breach thing.
The planes, the strike, whatever, the crowd strike thing that happened, and planes got diverted, and there was a couple of the talent from TNA that actually rented a car and drove almost 12 hours to get there for the pay-per-view because they were going to miss basically the pay-per-view. So some of them, had to go and do that because, again, a lot of them, if you watched some of the tweets and social media like Jordan Grace, they're like, "Oh, you're not going to want to miss this. We got surprises."
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the only ones that were really the surprise were the ones that were already kind of, the NXT guys that were already announced were kind of only people that showed up. There really wasn't any really Everblades. Okay, thanks, no doubt. Any big surprises? I thought the biggest surprise was Joe Hendry.
Really? I thought the biggest
eliminated, right?
I thought the biggest surprise was Earl Hebner.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I'm talking about the biggest surprise to me was him getting pinned. Not that him showing, I liked the way they showed up. I just thought Earl was a little bit old to be executing what they wanted him to execute.
Yeah, bro, that was rough. So we were kind of like watching it. I didn't get to watch the whole event because I was having issues.
Yeah, no, I was going in and out, and it was pausing. It was odd.
Yeah, it was a little bit annoying, but I can't blame that. Look, I won't blame that on TNA. It was me kind of trying to watch it.
Well, no, that's what I was doing as well. Yes,
in other forms. I'm gonna be very open book, and I'm not gonna lie. I was trying to see it from a different stream, but it wasn't the best. I will say this: I was able to catch the Mustafa Ali against Mike Bailey, which I thought was probably the best fight of the night, in my opinion. I liked it better than the main event fight, to be honest with you. I thought those two guys delivered. And I also got to see the Jordan Grace and then I saw the Rascals. Those were the fights I was able to. I saw a little bit Santana, and it's crazy. Look at all the names that I'm naming. These guys are all like, they've all been in AEW or WWE, and they've made their way over to TNA. So TNA is not bad. I didn't get to catch the Hardys. I think the Hardys fought there as well.
The first match, they're the only match. Matt Hardy was the opening match against Fandango, JDC.
Look at that,
Johnny Dango Curtis.
Look at that. I didn't even know he was still wrestling.
Yeah.
And then obviously you also have Santino Morella.
By the way, you had 3 pre-show matches of that show.
Santino Morella is like their GM.
Yes, he's their authority figure.
Yeah. So it's like they got a whole bunch of guys that are like all brand like.
I definitely need to pay more attention to their weekly show so I understand a lot of, because again, that's one of the things that, sometimes if you don't know the story, you don't understand the booking of the match, because it's like, okay, why is all this happening? And it's because little things that happen throughout the build to get to where, the match got to. So, that's one of the things that I noticed is they do a lot of the stuff that I like and telling stories and going. And again, I think there's dreamers there. I think Santino has a hand in that. There's some other people that are involved heavily in there as well.
I was surprised that they like to push a lot Frankie Kazarian. I'm shocked.
Well, because he was the original TNA guy. Remember with their first episode, he was on the first episode. I believe he was in the first X Division match. Like, he's always been there. You know, him and Christopher Daniels left there to go when AEW started, and then I think Frankie knew he made a mistake.
Now, I will say something, man. I've seen Moose. Moose is talented, bro. That guy's good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He was very close to signing with WWE. He stuck with TNA because I believe, again, here's one of the things that and you talked about earlier, is a lot of times you have to sit there and take that hard look. Am I going to get the same respect? Not respect's probably a bad word, but the same push, the same respect that I'm getting from where I am now. Is the grass greener if I go over there? The pay might be a little bit greener, but is it worth the headache of me having to sit there? Whereas now I have the input on everything I do, and they listen to me, and we work together. Do I get over to the other place and I'm not getting so much the same as I thought I was going to get? Because it happens, man. It happens. Every place is different. So I think Moose made a great decision where he's at. And I think the way that the title was dropped, I thought it helped elevate Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry pins the champion. And then Josh Alexander turns heel on him. And I like what they're doing with the Josh Alexander character, because he hasn't been heel in a while. And I'm very interested to see how, they take this character, because if you remember, the interesting thing with the TNA and the NXT working together, there was a tag team called, I believe it's We Are the North. And that tag team was All Ego Ethan Page and Josh Alexander.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So it will be interesting to see if Josh Alexander ends up working with, or somewhere, along the line with Ethan Page, and they kind of bring back there. And again, I don't think you hurt Joe Hendry at all, because you low blowed him and then you hit him with the finish. But I mean, I don't think you take away from anything. You just, if anything, you've added more fire to it because he was cheated.
The only thing I didn't like about that, and again, I don't know too much about TNA, was that Frankie Kazarian was at the end with Nick Nemeth. And I thought Joe Henry's bigger than those two guys, in my opinion, right now. So I would have allowed those two guys to go at it. I would have eliminated Frankie Kazarian first. But again, he's, like you said, he's a pioneer of
not
TNA.
only that, but also, if you remember, he took the big bump through the table where I think people forgot about him.
True, yeah.
And then I think there should have been a little bit more time to where Nick Nemeth pins Alexander and kind of thinks he's the only one there, and then have Kazarian kind of sneak in and go. I think it went too quick for it to really cross to everybody, is what I feel.
And for you guys that don't follow TNA as much, Nick Nemeth is Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler, and he is now the TNA champion, which is interesting again, because you have the TNA and you have the NXT crossover.
Now that at the end when I saw that happen, I was like, okay, this is interesting.
It's going to be interesting, because now you have Jordan Grace, who's already been on TV, and you have Nick Nemeth, who has been on WWE TV as your champions.
Yep.
What do we start seeing with the TNA thing? The when the worlds collide, everything like because again, here's the interesting part, and like I said,
that would be a huge pop. Like you see Dolph Ziggler back in NXT.
There's got to be some type of agreement in place to how they're going to manage these. Because I think what's going to happen at When Worlds Collide, it's going to be TNA versus NXT, like you had at the Survivor Series. Remember that one Survivor Series where you had Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT, and there was like a point system.
Yeah.
And then Raw and SmackDown had this big disparity, and then all of a sudden NXT guys came in at the end, and at the end it was all tied somehow. I'm not sure how they did all the points or whatever, but I feel like that's going to end up what's happening. Like, you're going to put all these matches together, and you're going to have back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and at the end it's just going to be like a tie in points. But you're going to have NXT guys beating TNA, and you're going to have TNA guys beating NXT. But I feel like you positioned yourself to where, like, Nick Nemeth, you don't mind losing to a Nick Nemeth. You don't mind losing to, I feel like the TNA guys have been elevated enough with what they're doing on their own program now too. And I get it. Maybe not as many eyes on it, but they're elevated themselves enough too to where against NXT, it's not like you're losing to, an independent show, which is one of the big things that everybody's always had an issue with like wrestling shows, is that a lot of them won't go because they don't want their guys to lose to. That's why the Forbidden Door thing was so interesting, because it's like, wait a minute, you're going to tell me New Japan guys are going to come on to AEW and lose? But then when you started looking at it, though, like there was a thing in place, because who was their champion? Kenny Omega. It's John Moxley. It's AEW guys that are their champion. Like, it's odd. It's never been one of those things. And then they did the WrestleCades, which has been cool. And I believe AEW, or no, TNA, one of them is doing their show at WrestleCade this year, like a pay-per-view show. I believe it's TNA is doing their show at WrestleCade on one of the nights. I believe it's a Friday night. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this goes, because, again, it's getting eyes on your product.
And not only that, I think it was, I don't remember who it was. This guy, the main guy who does wrestling on X. I forgot his name.
Sean Ross Sapp? He did a match with GCW against Effie.
No, I don't think it was Sean Ross Sapp.
He did a match with Effie. He was in a match with Effie.
But somebody posted it on X, and it showed the whole crowd of the TNA pay-per-view, and it was the highest, right? It was the highest
paid first sellout they've had in Montreal, and over 4,000 tickets sold. Like,
they have Collision can't even sell 1,200.
Yeah.
So that goes to show you, and whoever tweeted, I forgot.
But also
it goes the NXT effect. That's
it's the NXT effect, and also it's the Montreal area. Like, you have to think about this. When I was watching the show, Xbox Speedball was from Montreal. PCO was from Montreal. Like, you had all these guys that were hometown people. Like, yes, they're going to draw. That's the first time PCO's wrestled in his hometown. And how the hell does that happen? He was with WWE. He's like 55 years old, taking bumps through tables and everything else. It was crazy.
And I like the idea of them trying to mimic the Montreal screw job in a minute. That was cool. I mean, obviously,
it was in slow motion this time, but it was cool.
It was
and
cool
the fact that he wins with the sharpshooter.
Again, WWE reference, and you're like, man, they did something that.
And it's Shawn Michaels, by the way, too. Think about it. Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
I mean,
right. See how they all talk. See how it makes sense. AEW. See how it make freaking. Even TNA is getting the job correctly, and then they just started working with NXT, and that goes to show you how it gets your eye. If you didn't watch TNA, if you're like me, because I never watched TNA, bro. I hated watching TNA when they had that.
My problem is I don't like watching recorded shows. And unfortunately, TNA is recorded. They record their episodes. So I already get the results way ahead of time.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, I see some of the results.
I can't watch them when, like, well, let me rephrase this. I won't do like a recap show of them when the results have already been out there for 4 weeks.
So you're not going to do a recap show of Smackdown then, is what you're telling me this weekend.
This Smackdown, I probably will.
But it's recorded.
It's Smackdown. It's 1 week. It's not every week. Like they've already done the TNA for the next month is done.
I mean,
there's already spoilers out there of somebody returning.
Wow. Look, man. For me, I don't try to see spoilers.
I don't either. They find me, man. They find me.
And number two, I will say this.
They're like you, man. They're like, they just won't leave me alone.
And I'll tell you this: I wasn't a big fan of TNA before because I hated that ring. I hated when the
sides. I loved it.
I hated that crap. That was so annoying. I couldn't watch that crap.
Wednesday,
but then obviously when TNA got and brought in Joe Hendry, and then with NXT, that's when I was like, okay, you're catching my interest. And I knew about Joe Hendry, so then I started watching it, and now I record it. I watch it. I don't watch it that same Thursday because I know they show it Thursday nights. I play soccer on Thursdays, but I still watch the recap of it and rewind and watch it.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. But
I'm definitely going to be watching the shows just so I can follow the storylines. Even if now I'll at least watch the shows. So for the next pay-per-view, I'll be ready. Yeah. Because that was a problem. Like I didn't understand all of the they show the packages before. That's one thing I will say. They need to work with NXT and I get it. They might not have the same facilities that NXT does because the NXT's got WWE, the machine behind them. But they need to work on those packages a little bit more of getting the match ready. They were good, but they just need a little bit more production.
They also need to improve a little bit their like entrances. I think they need
their sound system and they're talking and the mic was off by like a millisecond, which was even worse because you could tell like if you could read lips, you're telling what they said before you even hear it.
Yeah, those are little. It's a work in progress.
And again, it's also maybe the venue. I don't know how many times people have run that venue, so maybe it's the first time they're running.
And then again, if you mentioned about blunders, there was a whole bunch of blunders there too. Like in that main event, you saw Moose almost busted his ass on the turnbuckle. I was like, oh my god, this guy almost fell, but it happens.
It happens. Hell, look at Andrade against Carmelo Hayes in SmackDown.
Yeah.
He laid there for 3 seconds with his legs open. I don't know what the hell's going on. It happens, man. When the timing is off, it can look so bad.
Yeah, it could look pretty bad, man. And it could look like Jay Cargill type of style, So
I still don't know what's going on with that, but we'll see. But
Sorry, Jay.
Her and Bianca went at it one-on-one already. So
really?
No, it was hot ones. Wings, but yeah, they went against each other.
Gotcha.
I don't know who won.
The hot wings. I gotta watch it. I didn't know they did the hot wings.
Yeah, they did the episode.
So yeah.
Joe Hendry promo on NXT right now. You said his name and he appeared.
It has to. You have to say his name.
I do love the fact that NXT is working with that, right? Because it was Booker T and Vic. What's his name? Vic. I forgot his last name. Vic. I want to say Fangio, and I know that's not right.
I know. I was like, what are you talking about Vic Fangio? Vic.
I can't think of his name, but Booker was like, "Don't say it, Vic. Don't say it." And he's
the commentator,
Joe Hendry, and it's like, yes, it's just perfect, man. It works.
Yeah, man, it definitely works.
It's just good, and then the way they're doing with Booker, and I just love, and then also like the interaction backstage with Gallus, he's like, they said his name and boop, he popped up. Just the little things, man.
I found it. Vic Joseph.
Vic Joseph, thank you. So
we're all saying Vic Fangio. I don't know. We have such a bad taste in our mouth with Vic Fangio. Yeah. But yeah, man, it was a good show, man. It was a good pay-per-view, and it intrigued me. And where I was going before is if you don't follow TNA, like the little things like the Bret Hart, Montreal Screwjob, you will remember. If you're a WWE fan, you'll remember that. And you're like, oh, I see what they were trying to do. Okay, cool. Yeah. And then, of course, Joe Henry. A little bit surprised he didn't win. I wanted him to win because I really wanted to see if he would actually challenge John Cena. But see how they, how they're getting.
Oh, damn it. Now,
I really want to see
that's what Josh Alexander should use against people, too, as a heel. Like, who the hell wants to see John Cena and Joe Hendry? And then you say his name, and then the boop, he comes out because you said his name.
It's so funny because I like the crowd when they all start screaming, "We believe, we believe!" Yeah. Yep. So it's so good. It's good, man. TNA is growing on me, bro.
And you saw did you see the one I tweeted out? He fought Elias.
Really?
Yes, and he made a parody song about Elias being fired by the WWE.
That's awesome, dude.
Yes.
I gotta watch that. Watch that.
All right, tell them where they can find you, man.
Hey, Frankie Fresco, the YouTube channel. You can find me on obviously YouTube, Twitch, X, what else? TikTok, everything. Frankie Fresco or Fresco Music. You see it right there. We have also our show, Let Me Talk to You, 8 o'clock on Wednesdays. We got a lot to talk about, man. A lot of injuries going on in the sports world. We're talking Miami Heat summer ball, the summer league, they were able to win. We got some Olympic talk. We can talk a little bit about the Olympics too.
Oh, breaking, baby. Breaking.
We got some Olympic
breaking to the left. Breaking to the right.
And then when it comes to the soccer, obviously all the tournaments are pretty much done, but the Olympics is on. So tomorrow, actually, the Summer Olympics, we got the women's soccer going on tomorrow. And then we'll probably talk a little bit about the United States options when it comes to hiring a coach. Right now, they're struggling right now trying to find somebody, but they did go on paper saying that they're not going to hire an American coach, that they are going to go outside the United States.
Americans done.
Sorry, man, I love America, but American coaches are not the answer for soccer. You got to go outside. But we'll talk about it. I might have a special guest tomorrow. Tune in.
Catch me at Sean_Stanley11 XIG thread, Stanley Media House Network on Facebook and YouTube. And of course, subscribe to the Stanley Media House Network YouTube channel, the Frankie Fresco YouTube channel. I heard they want Vieira. Still true? I'm guessing that's a soccer thing for you.
Vieira. Please specify a little bit
Please
about that.
Specify.
Oh, the coach. Yes. He is one of their options. Correct.
He's an option.
He is an option, sir.
He's an option.
We'll talk about the options that the Americans are trying to look at.
And U.S. soccer's like Dom, and he's got options. Rhea, Liv.
It's a lot, man. There's a lot. I mean, remember, Jurgen Klopp told us no. So, Rafa Benitez is another guy out there that he's said that he's interested in going. They reached out to the English coach who was also he stopped international play with England.
Can we get Nevin?
Who?
Phil Nevin? Phil Neville? Right? Neville. Yeah, that's it. Neville.
Why would we hire that guy, bro?
Good, man.
Sean, Lord have mercy.
Tata? We get Tata? He's already here.
He's already handling Inter Miami. You can't get him out of. You see how he's doing really good with Inter Miami?
You can't do that and a national team?
No, you can't do two. No, man, you don't have enough time, bro. What are you talking about?
What are you doing if you're running U.S. right now? Nothing. You're sitting at home twiddling your thumbs.
No, you can't say that, sir.
We're 16th in the country or in the world. Like what other countries? There's 15 other countries better than us in soccer.
We'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll go into depth as far as our options out there. And yes, the one I was talking about was the Gareth Southgate. That's the guy from England. He's the one that is asking and wants to be. There's a lot of them that really want to be the American coach. Pochettino is another one who's very, he's interested. There's a lot of options. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I promise you guys. But yes, we do need a new coach, and as long as he's not American, I'll be happy. I'll even be happy if they bring Thierry Henry. And I think Thierry Henry kind of sucks, but I prefer him than American.
So there you go. Let me talk to you tomorrow.
Yes, mañana.
Don't forget Frankie Fresco YouTube channel. Check out all his work over there. Subscribe. Hit the like button. Jump over to Stanley Media House Network YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe, like it, notifications, everything else. Sean_Stanley11 XIG thread, Stanley Media House, Facebook, YouTube. He is at Fresco Music. Go ahead.
We gotta say something, guys. We gotta say something. Sean, I broke the news to you. Hialeah Brewing Company shutting down.
Oh, August 30th, yes.
They're not there anymore. CCW, who does their events there every first of the month. Talk to me, man.
First Saturday, yep.
What's gonna happen, man?
I don't know. I need to reach out to Nelio and find out what's going on there. I know they have started going to other breweries. They got one in Doral, one in Homestead. They've actually got one now up in Tampa that they're going to too. They got like a brewery schedule going.
That's interesting, because let me ask you this. What are you doing the week of August August the 3rd? Yes, August the 3rd. Or August the 31st we can't, because that's Bash in Berlin. So we're gonna miss out Bash in Berlin. Unless it's early.
Yeah, but August 3rd is SummerSlam.
I thought SummerSlam was August 4th.
It's Saturday, the 3rd.
Damn it, you're right. We can't, damn it. Okay, because I really wanted to go to one of their shows at Hialeah before they close it down. I wonder if they're going to do something special. Damn, that sucks. All right, well, never mind. Maybe Bash at Berlin. Maybe Bash at Berlin is early in the day, and I'll be able
Actually, that will be an early card. That'll probably be a 2:00 start or noon start. Actually, maybe we could do that.
We could do
Yeah.
August 31st because that's going to be their last show. August 31st.
That's the last show there.
At least that's what I saw on their website. It said
Okay,
August 31st.
yeah, we should hit that one then, and we'll go and we'll do we'll make something. We'll make a video. We'll do a montage and package. And we'll have some stuff out there. We should make a Square Circle Digest like area.
Yeah, sure. And if we got people who want to come and join us, hell yeah, man, that's a good way to come.
Definitely, man. Cool. Get out there, support CCW.
Hell yeah.
All right, my man. I appreciate you. Enjoy your show tomorrow. Square Circle Digest, 7 p.m. next week, right here. Same time. Same place. Channel. Oh, by the way, if you do watch the Big O show, it looks like we're going to be doing an afternoon show. He's heading to training camp tomorrow morning. So,
are you heading to training camp?
No, I'm not. Not tomorrow. No.
Oh, damn.
I need to get the okay so I can do video and photography and things like that. And I'm not that quick. I got to get everything charged up. I got to break out my stuff. I didn't know we were going to go that early. I thought we were doing it later.
I'm heading to training camp on Sunday.
Okay. Oh, when the fans go. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be out there.
All right. All right, my man. For everybody, in the words of the great Gordon Soley, so long from the sun. Shine. Stay.